Yeah, good trouble, good trouble. We get in good trouble, good trouble, good trouble, good trouble. We get in good trouble, good trouble. We speak up, we speak out. We use our voices, no need to shout. Good trouble. Yeah, good trouble, good trouble. We get in good trouble, good trouble, good trouble, good trouble. We get in good trouble, good trouble. We speak up, we speak out. We use our voices, no need to shout. Good trouble.
David, are you playing the video first? Oh, I didn't see the video, so sorry. No worries. Hello, everyone. Sorry for all the technical difficulties, but we appreciate you joining us. This is going to be an exciting and a first ever. Our Good Trouble HBCU Takeover. My name is Kwame Jackson, and I'm the corporate partner lead for HBCU Heroes. HBCU Heroes, as you know, is all about leveling the playing field between HBCUs and PWIs and providing resources, digital entertainment, and enrichment, as well as education and scholarships for student athletes, all to kind of bring our power to bear. And this particular night, we're going to do a party, a turn up, keep it lit, all about voting. We got a lot of great content to share. And I'll throw it over to my co-host, Tracey Pennywell. And thank you again for your patience and bearing with us.
What's up, everybody? Kwame's right. We are so excited. It is the day before Election Day. We've been partying to the polls, strolling to the polls. We got our vote on already, and we hope y'all did too. So now it's all about making that good trouble, John Lewis style. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in our other partner, George Lynch. Take it away, G. Lynch. Tell him what's up.
Hello, ladies. And I'm not for sure if there's any gentlemen on the phone, but hello everyone. Thanks. Well, thanks for everyone joining us. Like Ms. Pennywell said, that you know, we're here because of voting. We gotta make a change in our elections. We got to get out and vote early. We got to get out and vote. However long it takes to stand in line, we have to show up to the polls.
Awesome. We appreciate that, George. George had the vision, along with Tracey, to start this great organization when we saw folks like Steph Curry, who gave $1 million to Howard University's golf program to bring it back, even though he had no connection directly to Howard. And so we want to take some time just for a second for our students who give us all the energy.
You're right, we're here, the HBCUs.
Introduce themselves. If you could just introduce yourself, say where you're from, a little bit about your school, your major, and then we'll keep it moving on to our next segment. So thank you guys for joining us.
Who's first?
I say Bria. Bria, go first.
I can go. Hello, everyone. My name is Bria Banks. I attend Spelman College, where I am a first-year student majoring in political science and minoring in psychology, and I am glad to be here tonight. So thanks for having me.
Bria. Wait, one quick question though. Bria, what was your voting experience? Were you early? Are you going tomorrow?
Yes, so my dad took off work for tomorrow, so we will be having my first voting experience in the morning. Yes, so it's already planned, and we have a voting poll place 2 minutes from our house, so we'll be in those lines or however long it takes.
Go, Bria.
Yes.
And Bria, where are you logging in from? Or where, I know you're Spelman on the shirt, but we're all virtual.
Correct, right. I am from Minneapolis, Minnesota, so it's already got snow over here.
Oh,
All right. We'll send you some Carolina sunshine. All right, on to Carson Pauling, a family favorite and friend of mine.
Hey y'all, my name is Carson Pauling. I also attend the Spelman College. I am a first-year student and a biology major with a minor in Spanish from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, from Charlotte. That's how you know Kwame.
Charlotte, Queen City.
Hey, Carson. Carson. I might need a Spanish tutor for my son. He's a ninth grader at Myers Park.
Okay. I know some people that go there.
There you go. Now, Carson, what's your voting experience this year? Because this is your first time, right?
Well, technically, I did vote last year for the primaries, but it wasn't a presidential election. So this is my first presidential election. 2 weeks ago on a Friday, my mom and we went to the polls and we voted. So that was my first time actually early voting.
Okay, long line or no?
I've always voted on the day of.
Okay, gotcha. So, was it a long line?
There was no line. We walked right up and in. It was at one of our high schools that are actually shut down right now because we're virtual.
Okay, go Carson. Who's next?
Awesome. Andrea Cruz with that tiara and all the regalia. So we appreciate this.
Hey everybody, my name is Andrea Cruz. I am a senior at Paul Quinn College, which is located in South Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
Yes. And I am a health and wellness major.
And what about you? What was your voting experience?
So this is actually my first time getting to vote for a presidential election. So that was very exciting. I did early voting and there was no lines. So it was really quick and easy. So I appreciated that.
And Kwame, before you introduce the next one, I wanted to say this, shout out to Dr. Michael Sorrell, we're all friends with the president of your college. He's been on our Streamathons before. He's our advisor, mentor, just like he does y'all, he does me, he works the same way. So what's up, Mike Sorrell? Who's next?
Why don't we go to Rachel?
Hey, how are you guys tonight?
Hi.
So I am the 48th Miss Cheney, University of Pennsylvania. I am a sophomore majoring in biology pre-med. And yeah, that's all I can think of.
Tell us your voting experience this year.
So I'm very excited. This will be my second time voting, but my first presidential election. So tomorrow, I'm going to try to get to the polls super early because I don't want to be in the long lines waiting and stuff. And I'm very excited to vote in person. So yeah.
Hey, Kwame, thank you so much for that. Kwame, while we're on the subject of getting to the polls, do you want to kind of do a little shout out with our LIFT program of getting HBCUers to the polls?
Yeah, let's definitely do that. We are excited because we partnered with LIFT. You guys all know the Great Ride Company and Social Change Fund, which is Carmelo Anthony, Chris Paul, and Dwayne Wade, and all the activities they're doing along with other athletes to kind of impact social change in our space. We all know about sports social activism and how much the NBA players are leading along with the NFL players. And they partnered with us through Social Change Fund, LIFT, and HBCU Heroes to actually provide discounted rides to the polls. So tomorrow, if you use the appropriate code, and we'll put that on the screen a little bit later, but if you use the appropriate code, you will be able to actually take a lift anywhere in the nation directly to the polling place, and that is a $10 discounted riding code. So anything kind of 10 and less will be kind of clear for your account. So we're very excited about that partnership. They're wonderful in terms of how they're thinking about getting people to the polls. And one thing they shared with us is 15 million people in the last election in 2016 did not vote because they did not have access to transportation.
They didn't
so
have
we're
no
really
wheels.
trying to remove that barrier.
Yeah. Well, good stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so we wanted to thank you all for being here. And again, we had a little bit of a glitch, but we wanted to thank you all for being here and continuing to share with us and sharing your experiences, because what we've noticed through some of our partnerships like Black Voters Matter and Rock the Vote and When We All Vote, More Than a Vote, all of them, they have said that this year more so than any, there are so many people who are anxious about going to the polls because of all the stuff that's going on in the media. The long lines obviously make people anxious if it's going to be 8 hours in the cold or the rain. There's just so much happening. So we just wanted to make good trouble with you all and let people out there know that, look, even if it's a long line, whatever it takes, whatever it is, it's a by any means necessary type thing. So thank you all for sharing in that with us.
And thanks for joining so far. So we're going to go to just a little bit of our first segment, which is a Q&A for the folks who saw the Good Trouble movie. So, you know, I appreciate everyone who tuned in. We partnered with a number of folks to provide that movie. So Tracey, do you want to tell a little bit about the Good Trouble movie partnership and who's involved? And then let's discuss the movie a little bit and we'll go into a little bit of our entertainment programming.
Absolutely. And also, George, if you want to jump in anywhere that I kind of get off track, because I'm a long-winded one, girls. So we're the movie, which is all three of us, we were so just amazed and awestruck. And you know, Congressman John Lewis was just more than amazing. And so when we saw the movie, we actually partnered with the good folks at Participant and Magnolia Pictures and all the people that put that together and said we would be the HBCU marketing arm for it to make sure that it got into all HBCUs. And of course, COVID hit, so we had to do a little bit of virtual sort of reprogramming. And so this past week, we made sure to get the link out to every single HBCU so they could distribute with you ladies here and the rest of the HBCUs in the country so that you guys could watch it and sort of take note of why Congressman Lewis said that sometimes you just got to get in a little good trouble. When you see something that ain't right, you just got to make some good trouble, right, ladies? So that's what we did this past week. We had a week-long screening and we hope you all saw it. But even if you didn't, I think the question, right, Kwame, that we wanted to pose is, if you look back 50 years ago and Congressman Lewis, you know, he was in jail, what, Kwame, like 40 sometimes,
Yep.
just been protested.
He was arrested, yes.
Thank you, George. 40 sometimes. And then the same things, a lot of them that he was arrested for and was protesting for back in the day are very similar to what we see a lot, particularly this summer with George Floyd and just with voter suppression and all of that. So we wanted, if anyone can kind of just jump in, it's an open Q&A, to just ask you all, did you know, what do you feel, or how does it resonate with you seeing that 50 years later, the country is somewhat in the same state of marching in the streets and making good trouble, and especially with the Gen Z population?
You want to direct it to someone?
Andrea, how about we go with you?
I will direct it to Carson Pauling, my hometown favorite.
Go, Carson.
Because I know she watched the movie and took notes and built a spreadsheet and everything.
I would just say, like he said in the movie, you know, we've came a long way, but we still have so much farther to go. Mm-hmm. And as he was saying, like, the ability to vote is a tool of our democracy that is nonviolent, that a lot of people have to be able to use adequately to make change. And I just think if we continue to keep pushing and pushing, because if we think about back in the time of John Lewis, how they were pushing and they were pushing and they were pushing, what they went through, it's nothing we could imagine. Well, most of us could imagine now. So I think if we keep using our voices and pushing, of course it's frustrating, but we can't give up. We owe that to them at least. At the end of the day, we owe that to them at least, to keep pushing and to keep fighting and voting and using our voices. So it is frustrating, of course, but we're not going to give up, and we can't give up. So
make good trouble.
That's it. Continue to make good trouble. Bria, I know you had a chance to view the film as well. Can you tell us about your reaction to the film and how you would tie it into kind of modern day events and how you're feeling as a young Black woman voter?
Yes, most definitely. Like Carson said, I think this is the time where we really have to realize the importance of going out to the polls and voting. The legacy that John Lewis has left us is just important to realize, that the shoulders that we stand upon. So after watching that film, I really took, you know, a lot with me, looking into the past, looking into, you know, the good trouble that he references that he got into for us to, you know, be able to go out there to go vote. And so understanding the importance of that and connecting it into today's society, I think it is frustrating, especially I'm located near Minneapolis, Minnesota. So this summer, George Floyd was murdered to the hands of policemen. So it is frustrating when you repeatedly see those same instances happen and then happen near your community as well. But we have to realize that in order to enact that change, it does start with voting, and it does start with, electing those individuals that we want to see lead us to, go to that change. So I definitely say after that film, I was more motivated, to be that person that creates that, good trouble that we so necessarily need, for sure.
Well said, well said. And,
Awesome.
and I don't know if the other two, if you wanted to jump in or not, but if you want to say something real quick, we're happy to hear. It's nice to hear from young people and how like the past and the present sort of come together in this space. So let us know if you guys are.
Yeah, I think it's amazing to vote because I feel like this election is what's really making people like, whoa, like my vote really matters. And if we think about like in 2016, like we said, we had a huge chunk of people that did not vote at all. And it used to make me feel like that time I was a sophomore back in high school. So I was just like, okay, what's the point of the popular vote if we had the electoral college vote? But I feel like it's this year that even I myself, I'm realizing that voting is, our voice matters, because if it's that one vote that could definitely like make the candidate you want to win, then go out there and vote. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, if we don't, then our voice doesn't matter. Because I feel like the circumstance in the past was that people always said, what's the point in voting? My voice doesn't matter and stuff. And then it's like, well, did you even vote in the first place? The answer is like, no. So it's like, why are you complaining? But I feel like at least if you go out there and vote and you do your civil duty, then it's like, at least you did your job at least. So yeah.
That's definitely the way to think about it. And we appreciate that commentary. Andrew, we're going to come to you because you're going to stick around for our next segment. I know that Bria and Carson have to go for now, and Rachel has to go for now. And then we're going to jump into some quick videos. And soon we're going to be coming up with our NBA All-Star extravaganza, which is Mr. Justin Jackson. So let's go. Yes, let's go into the next video right after this.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Shake your money maker. Don't let that money maker. Shake that money maker. Don't let that money make it. Oh, shake your money maker. Don't let that money make it. Shake that money maker. Don't let that money make it, baby.
Until I became independent and they start messing with my money, then I really cared. What's really going on? Too much that is endangering us, from the food that we eat to the air that we breathe. They are killing us. The climate of our nation now, and with Trump just running his mouth and saying senseless things and crazy things, and it was like, and I often now think, is our voice. You have to have something that has taken place that you care about, be able to stand for. So I'm gonna play devil's advocate. But if you put someone up there that don't look like I do and don't sound the way that I sound and can break it down to me, I'm not listening. And my mother said, girl, don't be no damn fool. But it wasn't until Obama got into office till I really started being more educated about the process and how my voice is really heard through my vote. Now, everybody wants things to be easy. We've had a hardship for a long time. If we allow things to be fun, maybe we can get more people on board with it.
See something that is not right, do something. Get in trouble. Good Trevor.
If John Lewis, as a 19, 20-year-old, wasn't doing what he did, I would not be here.
Too many people struggled and died for every American to exercise their right to vote.
You cannot replace a John Lewis.
There are forces in America today want to take us back, but we're not going back. We're going forward.
I'm not a star. I'm not a star. I'm not a star.
Hello, everybody, back in our fun Zoom room. It looks like we've been joined by my favorite Tar Heel, Mr. Justin Jackson of the NBA and Dallas Mavericks fame. Do you want to say hello to everybody, Justin?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. It's definitely an honor that y'all even thought of me to do this. So I'm really excited.
We really appreciate your time. We really appreciate your activism. And we're excited to have you. We're going to go now, Tracey, into the Rick Ross piece.
No, well, first we had a quick question for Justin, because Justin, hey, so thank you so much for coming on. George is on here, I'm here, Kwame's here, Carolina crew, but we also had a couple of students, and I believe one of them had a quick question, and then we'll do the Rick Ross thing, if that's okay.
Okay, great. I wanted to make sure I had the schedule right. So I think the person who has been waiting the longest, and she can unmute her mic because she has a whole setup and a tiara and everything. And so she's going to introduce herself, say where she's from, her major, and she's, I think, in the same city where Justin Jackson plays.
Hi, my name is Andrea Cruz. I'm a senior from Houston, Texas, and I go to Paul Quinn College in Dallas, Texas, South Dallas. And I'm a health and wellness major.
Awesome. And so I know that obviously Justin is a Dallas Mavericks and is right there in that kind of Paul Quinn geography. Did you want to ask Justin a question? We're going to talk a little bit about social activism in sports. And so, Justin, I know you're in the thick of it. You were in the bubble. You saw everything with LeBron and everything that the NBA was leading. What are your thoughts, Justin, on social activism in sports and what you see happening right now and the power you guys have?
You know, for one, I think the main thing that everybody wanted to focus on in the bubble was trying to get our voices out there and trying to show that, you know, we aren't just athletes. You know, we're just like any other, you know, person that, you know, wants to stand up for something that's right. And so I think it was amazing to see how many players and how many people really got behind all of the things that we wanted to try to push. But I think honestly, you know, at the end of the day, all eyes are on sports, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, and the fact that so many athletes are starting to take that stand. I think it's an amazing thing, and hopefully we can continue the momentum even, you know, through this crazy time with the pandemic, the election, all that sort of stuff. I hope we can just kind of gain more and more momentum and just keep it going.
We appreciate your leadership there. I wanted to open it up to our student. Andrew, if you want to ask Justin a question, that'd be great.
Hi, Justin. My question to you is, how do you use your platform to live a purpose like John Lewis did? You know, John Lewis lived purpose with everything he did, even with voting. So how do you use your platform for a purpose as big as voting?
To make good trouble?
Yes, make good trouble.
You know, for me, obviously basketball has always been a, you know, it was a way for me to get education. Now it's a way for me to provide for, you know, my wife and hopefully a family down the line. But basketball has never really been the most important thing in my life. So kind of, you know, as a side note, like my faith has been the largest thing. So when it comes to using my platform, I've always made it a goal of mine to use it to, you know, me and my wife always say it, to make this world better than it was when we got here. So, you know, now in this time that we're in with the pandemic, like I said, and now the election, voting is the biggest thing, especially for us, you know, this younger generation. You know, it's the most important thing that we can do to get our voices out there. And so, you know, for me, obviously, whether that's Twitter, Instagram, just my own voice, it's just trying to get as many people to see that voting and trying to be heard is very important. So I don't know, maybe, you know, maybe a few people here that I voted, or that a few people here that I stand up for something and they kind of change their minds on things. So that's kind of my goal.
Well, I had one question, if I could, too. So George and I, obviously, all of us three went to Carolina, George, Kwame now, of course, but we have been talking lately because Snoop Dogg came out and said this was his first time voting. Shaq, of course, came out and said it was his first time voting. And then we have people like Mike Vick, who is one of our ambassadors for this program. And I know he is doing a lot of work down in Florida for the voting and getting that going. So what do you think about people who are like yourself, who have a voice and who are out here doing things, but the good trouble they're making now is coming out and being heard and really putting it on the line, because it's not really embarrassing. To me, I feel like it's a great thing that they're using their power and their voice to say it, because there are numbers that say there are a lot of Black men who are in that position, and they're just not on their own. So what do you think about that?
I mean, I think it's, there's a ton of people, like you said, that are, being more vocal, being more out there about, whether it's who they voted for or just the fact that they voted. I think the unfortunate thing is there's a lot of people that they don't think that their vote really matters, and so I think it's, part of us being, a voice and talking about voting and stuff like that is also relaying to people that your vote does matter. Even though it seems like one vote out of however many votes are going to be put out there, it does matter. But I think, the people that are being bold, it does take being bold. It takes the fact that there are going to be some people that don't agree with you. There are going to be some people that might kind of bash you for certain things. But the fact that they're being bold enough to come out and try to be a voice and try to be, that light for somebody else who might not have as big of a platform or as big of a voice, I think it's amazing to see.
I have a question for you, Justin. I saw that your owner, Mark Cuban, he was good friends to my daughter, and his daughter went to school together at Hockaday. And talk a little bit about how Mark Cuban, opened up the arena at American Airlines Center. I came in 2 weeks ago and did my early voting. I know it's voting tomorrow. And the process was very easy by him opening up the arena. I probably stood in line longer than it took me to vote, but it took about a total of 15 minutes. Talk a little bit about Mark's influence on you guys, getting you guys out there to vote, and whether did you go early or are you voting tomorrow?
So I think one of the biggest things that we had in the bubble was, we wanted to come out with some things that we could go to the owners and things that we could implement right now. And that was one of the things that we had thrown around, was trying to turn all of the arenas around the country into a voting spot. And Mark, I mean, it was right away. He put it right into work to try to get it set up that the American Airlines Center would be, a place where you could go and vote. And so, I think that's just a testament, for one, how much he backs his players, and for two, how much he wants voting to be huge. And so for me, I actually voted not too long ago, a couple of days ago, actually. And so, yeah, like you said, it was super simple. I pulled up, I was probably 10, 15 minutes. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, it just shows, and it's a testament to Mark and how much he loves us and how much he wants to back us on whatever we want to do.
Great question, George. And I appreciate that answer, Justin. I wanted to keep the conversation going and really give a chance for you to give some direct advice, Justin, to a current college student like Andrea. If they're thinking about voting, or maybe they think their vote doesn't matter, what would you, as someone who's a recent graduate and can give advice back to someone, a few years younger than you, tell them about the impact of their voice and their vote and why it's important?
Honestly, I think it goes back to just the whole idea of being bold, using courage, because a lot of times, especially coming out of college and being young, you don't really want to step on anybody's feet. I mean, you want to try to make everybody happy. You want everybody to accept you and what you think. But I think, unfortunately, the realization is, if you're going to stand up for something that you believe in, there are going to be people that might not agree with it or might not like it. But I think if I were to give anybody advice, it would just be stand for what you believe. And your voice does matter. Even when people might say that it doesn't matter, it does matter. Especially us being the younger generation. Like I said before, we're that next group coming up. So for us, we have to set the precedent now that we're going to stand up for what's right. And we're going to try to let people hear our voice as much as we can. So that's probably it. Just not being afraid to disagree with somebody or have somebody disagree with you. That's probably my biggest advice.
Justin, that's awesome. I know Kwame's going to close it down. Kwame keeps me on time. But I want to say this. Thank you so much for making good trouble with us today, because it is exactly what you said. People like you who take time out of their day. As soon as we reached out to your agent, and then George reached out and he was like, Justin's in, Justin's ready. And they said nothing but great things, that you were like, I want to help. What can I do? Because we said, oh, maybe Justin could just send a video. And they said, no, Justin said he wants in. So we were like, oh, okay, Justin wants to make some good trouble with us. So we wanted to thank you and tell you that to your face, that we did get the messages and heard that you were ready to make this good trouble. And we appreciate you coming on board with us. I mean, we know the Carolina thing helped some too. You and George, you know, we knew how that worked. But you were both being on the NBA side. But thank you again, just for that, and for being a beacon of light and hope and inspiration to your generation. We appreciate you.
Well, like I said before, it's definitely an honor, and thank you so much for having me. I'm always here, so whenever y'all need anything, just let me know.
Okay, don't tell us that. We're going to holiday sports tournament, so we're going to call you back in December.
Yeah.
Good luck to you, Jay. Good luck to you, man. Hey, Justin, shoot that ball, man.
I appreciate y'all.
Thank
I
you,
got
brother.
you. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much.
That was a wonderful segment to have a talent like Justin, who's showing leadership at such a young age, right in the NBA, making his voice heard, and hopefully inspiring great students like Andrea, who's joined us here today. I think now we're gonna go into our 2 Chainz video and get a little turn up. Yep. There you go. And so I will let our producer take it away, and we'll go into that.
And we'll be back in 2 and 2.
Something that is not right, not fair, not just. Say something, do something, get in trouble, good trouble.
There's a lot of people who grow up in the inner city, they don't believe that they vote count, so they don't even go.
Because if you feel like that, a few of your homies might feel like that, right? So then that's 20 of y'all that feel like that. And then if they spread that same feeling to their family members, that's a few hundred.
I am Michael Strahan, a proud HBC alum.
What's up, everybody? It's Bam with the Biology. What's up? It's Mike Vick.
This is Chris Broussard of Fox Sports.
Please make sure to go out and vote.
And go out and vote.
Vote.
Be a part of the change. Just vote.
I'm Shannon Sharp from Skip and Shannon Undisputed, and I'm an HBCU alum from Savannah State University.
Hey, I'm Bill Bellamy. It's your boy Takeo Spikes.
Hi, I'm Kylo Quinn from the Philadelphia 76ers.
I'm Jasmine Burke.
Hugh Douglas here.
What's up, everybody? I'm Renee Montgomery.
My name is George Lynch.
I'm Tracey Pennywell.
Hi, my name is Kwame Jackson of HBCU Heroes.
If you have never, ever considered going to an HBCU, now is the time.
This is our next generation. These are our new leaders.
The right to vote is precious, almost sacred.
It's Akbar Bajapir Miller, host of American Ninja Warrior, and more so than ever, it is important to vote. I know people are getting serious about it, but that's all right. It's fun too. So make sure you go out there and make your voice heard. Vote.
We're back. Tracy, drop something on us.
Well, you know, I got a text just from one of my very good friends down at Florida Memorial. And it's Professor Russell Motley, who I'm going to read this text because I thought this was really important. We love these instant updates that we can do on these streamathons. But Professor Motley says, in Miami, the county said no to using American Airlines Arena where the Heat plays as a polling place because there's a huge Black Lives Matter sign at the front entrance. And I know that there are laws against actually doing for one party or another at the front of places or wearing gear in, but just an interesting note. You have any commentary on that? Our political commentator, Kwame Jackson?
I don't want to steal all the thunder because we've got a very bright student right in front of us. What are your thoughts on hearing that text as a young person who's voting, Andrea, down in Dallas?
I just feel like my first reaction to hearing that was I was disgusted. To even like that just still blows my mind to where if people support Black Lives Matter that they're picking a political side when that's not the case at all. So
yeah, because the whole phrase means Black Lives Matter, that we matter just as much as anyone else.
Right. Not that others don't, but we do too. Right.
Yeah, we don't matter anymore. We don't matter any less, but we do matter.
We do matter.
And as a former NBA player, I've played in that arena several times. It's in the hood. So again, that's voter depression, you know, suppression, where voters can't get to the polls.
Look at Andre, she's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I didn't know it was in the hood. Good point, G. Lynch. Oh.
And Andrew, I know that you probably heard, I know you're in Dallas, but I'm sure you heard about the governor of Texas limiting the Houston county to just one drop-off box versus, you know, boxes all over the county, and all those people having to kind of cram into that. So voter suppression and these tactics are alive and real. And part of fighting them is to make good trouble, to do
all day, every day,
said, to use our voice, to use social media, to build relationships across the nation, like on this stream where we're going to have students come in from everywhere. And so we thank Justin Jackson, we thank you, Andrea, and Tracy, thank you for sharing that live text. That is one of the great things about a streamathon, is that we get information as it comes in right away. I think now, David, we're able to go back to that, hopefully a little bit of that 2 Chainz turn up.
Turn up. We've been waiting on that.
Your player partner 2 Chainz checking in. Now check it. Historically, Black colleges and universities have been a space for our people for almost 2 centuries.
They've become the breeding ground for some of the most successful doctors, actors, journalists, engineers, and politicians that this country has ever seen.
And in days like these, when our safety is predominantly non-Black spaces is threatened at an all-time high, the importance of HBCUs is being emphasized on an even larger scale. So today, we're celebrating the legacy and impact of HBCUs with a showcase unlike any other.
Ahead, check out an ode to what HBCUs have done for us as a people, but also to the impact it's had on the culture. Check it out.
Let's fast forward to join first-year students Nikki, Cameron, and Deshawn that have just made it onto campus for their first homecoming weekend. All the freshmen just got a notification from their student advisors on all the homecoming festivities planned for the weekend. Let's take a look.
What's good, freshmen, and welcome back, alumni, to REVOLT Homecoming 2020.
College is more than school. It's a whole vibe. It's a whole mood. It's a bomb-ass experience. It's a place where the person you are today meet the person you'll be tomorrow. Period.
Don't let that money make, baby. Southern University. What's up with y'all? Alabama State. I'm back. Damn you. Clark Atlanta. You feel good to be back. Shake your money maker. Don't let that money maker. Shake that money maker. Don't let that money make it. Oh, shake your money maker. Don't let that money make it. Shake that money maker. Don't let that money make it, baby. Yeah, shake that money maker. Don't let that money make it. You know I accommodate you. Can I accommodate you? I make you come, I hate you. I know you're home lately. I turn your curly hair into that bone straightening. I make you moan, baby. It feel right, don't it? I know I'm wrong, baby. That pheromone fragrance. Can't miss no car payments. I kiss her earlobe. Like what you doing later? The Birkin alligator. Them lames agitator. I'm talking natural beauty. No makeup applicator. She say I killed the I seen the affidavit. She blew my cap off. Like I had graduated. The roof decapitated. The booth contaminated. Hey, check my face card. I bet it's laminated. My jewelry carbonated. My yard 100 acres. I like to nominate you. To roll my dice in Vegas. I shake your money maker. Don't let that money maker. I shake that money maker. Don't let that money make it. Oh, shake your money maker. Don't let that money make it. I shake that money maker. Don't let that money make it, baby.
Baton Rouge has always been an anchor of the civil rights movement. Starting with the Baton Rouge bus boycott in 1953, our community has played a pivotal role in securing civil rights for all citizens. Southern University has served as a cornerstone to the educational, political, and economic development of the African American community. That remains true today.
Greetings, Jaguar Nation and Human Jukebox fans. My name is Kedrick Taylor, Director of Bands of the Southern University Human Jukebox. Today we are in a time where our vote matters. Everyone should exercise your right to vote. So, today, my staff and I want to express the importance of why you should vote.
Hi, my name is Dr. Akai Smith. I'm the coordinator for the Fabulous Dancing Dolls. And you should vote because the future of our country depends on it. And the moment you choose not to, you lose your right to complain.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Simmons, Assistant Director of Bands at Southern University. I've always lived by the motto, there are those that make history and there are those that take history. Voting is not just your right, but it's an opportunity to make your own individual stamp on history and future generations to come.
Hello everyone, I am Assistant Director of Bands, Mr. Cedric Todd. Vote because it matters. Vote because you matter. Make your vote count.
Our ancestors bled and died for us all to have the right to vote. Please exercise your right to vote today.
Vote!
What's up, everyone? I am Jalil Thurman, CEO and founder of Yard Talk 101, host and executive producer of HBCU 101, and an alum of Virginia State University. I am here because I want to encourage you all to please, please, please go out and vote. The outcome of this year's election is going to impact our future, especially yours. I remember my first time voting. It was back in 2012. Barack Obama was being elected president for his second term, and it was my first time. And it was amazing because as a student at Virginia State University, we actually gathered together and we marched to the polls and we voted. And that let me know that my vote matters. And so what I want to encourage you guys to do is understand that your vote matters. Your voice needs to be heard. So we need you guys. We need you all to make sure you guys vote in the 2020 presidential election.
Hi, I'm Kiana Simone Simpson, and I just left early voting. I want to urge everyone, definitely the younger generation, to get out there and vote. Let your voices be heard. This election is the most important for us. Let your voices be heard not only for yourself, but for Breonna Taylor, for George Floyd, for Tamir Rice, and so many more that deserve justice. Our voices are so much stronger together. Go vote, guys.
The vote is precious, almost sacred. It is the most powerful nonviolent tool or instrument in a democratic society. We must use it. I saved that tweet from Congressman John Lewis from 2016. John Lewis, pioneer, activist, tireless warrior. You were called one of the most courageous persons the civil rights movement ever produced. We honor you for putting your life on the line so that we could retain the right to vote. A right that is today under attack. Voter suppression is happening state by state, with many laws being passed that are creating more barriers for people to vote. But voter suppression also happens in another way, making us think that our vote doesn't count. Throughout my television career, I have lived in 5 states: Georgia, Florida, Wisconsin, my home state of Michigan, and right here in California. My parents always reminded me when I planted roots in a new state to always register to vote. They said it is your duty to know what is happening and be involved and invested in the communities around you. It would have been easy to say it's inconvenient, I'm working all the time, or my vote doesn't matter. But my parents were around before the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, when certain communities found it almost impossible to register to vote. We can't let that right be taken away, and we cannot let the work of John Lewis and so many others be in vain. Congressman Lewis, icon, warrior, fellow HBCUer, Fisk, Spellman, you lit the torch for us, and we all carry it because of you. Thank you for making good trouble. God bless you.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. I hope you're enjoying some of the public service announcements that we have. We've got some new and old friends who joined us, and so I want to make sure we get a chance to recognize them. We all know Carson, we all know Andrea, we all know Bria. So you got Paul Quinn in the building and Spellman in the building. But we have a new face, Ashanti. Where are you from? Where are you logging in from? What school you representing? How you claiming the Rams? Tell us all.
All about it.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Ashanti Marshall. I am a senior biology major, art and chemistry minor, representing Winston-Salem State University.
SSU.
Yes, I currently serve as our political action co-chair, and I'm very happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. I gotta tell you something. I gotta tell her something earlier. Kwame was like, "Oh, well, we got our PhCs coming from WSSU and another school," and he was like, "So they got to be in here too," because I was thinking, I didn't know it's gonna be a pretty girl who was smart too. I was thinking it was gonna be like a guy or something, but that's good. Represent, girl. That's that black girl magic right there.
Winston-Salem State is in the building. You guys are doing all kinds of great stuff. We see you in the media a lot. Your PAC page, I'm sure you're in charge. You guys follow us and post a lot of great things. And so tell us just briefly a little bit about how that PAC came to being at Winston-Salem State, what your mission is, and how other schools can maybe replicate it.
Oh, I think she's on mute. Are you on mute? Can you?
She was.
Okay.
Go ahead, now start again.
Winston University PAC was actually created by Olivia Sedgwick, who's a former SGA president. So because our SGA presidents usually aren't able to be as vocal about what's going on in our communities or about politics, she created the Political Action Committee in order for us to be able to, you know, mobilize our campus and able to get students more involved in what's going on in the community. So that's where that position came from. Taven and I were appointed this year as co-chairs because they couldn't choose between us. So that was actually great. I love being able to work with him and having a co-chair. So it's really wonderful. As far as our social media, we can credit Taven for his wonderful graphics because I am not good at Photoshop. Being an artist, I'm more of a composite person, you know, working group. He's very, very good at using Photoshop and making flyers, and he's very great. He can pop them out very fast. So if we have something that we want to share, or if I come up with the idea that I want to be shared on our page, he can make a graphic within like 15 minutes.
Well, thank you for all that. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I will say this because later in the show, we have the video from WSSU with, I'm sure you were probably out there when CP3 came onto y'all's campus and did the party to the polls. Yes, we watched that and was like, how amazing was that to have an athlete, a superstar, a Winston-Salem native come back, actually attend. He's actually a bona fide student there at WSSU. How is all of your school, everybody, all the HBCUs there, how are they loving that CP3 action?
It was so amazing. So having him, because he also visited A&T, Fayetteville State. So just seeing him show love to so many HBCUs is really great for HBCUs. So especially me, Winston-Salem native as well, seeing him come back home and seeing how he also grew up watching WSSU's and enjoying it, having so much fun. I was reminding me myself of like my experience coming to Winston State University, because growing up in Winston-Salem, I watched the same things he did and saw the same things he did. Even though he's a little older than I am, I kind of saw a little bit of myself in him coming back to like enjoy and being able to bask in everything and be in the moment.
Fantastic.
Yeah. He's one of our great partners through Social Change Fund and the program that we talked about with Lyft. We want to make sure we put that graphic up on the screen for Lyft. But the code for our program, again, just to remind people, we have a partnership with Lyft and Social Change Fund to get HBCUs to the polls. So we're going to put that graphic up on screen, and you can use this code tomorrow at the beginning of crack of dawn to get to the polls. It's going to be a $10 or less discounted ride to wherever you need to get to. And I believe the code is HBCU Heroes 2020. So we're excited about that.
But I know a lot of people on our panel have already voted, but for anyone who hasn't, if you need to take your vote squad, you got the wheels now. You get your vote squad together, y'all go out there and do what you got to do and get to those polls, stroll to the polls, party, walk, run, get to those polls, because tomorrow is really what Good Trouble is all about. Right, Kwame?
Yep, and every vote counts. We know it. In Winston-Salem State, we appreciate you. And so definitely stick around, Ashanti. we're going to now go into some exciting giveaways.
I love it.
So Tracey, hopefully you have a winner.
I got to put my little glasses on.
Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about our contest, and then Tracey is going to tell you about the winner and everything. We are also partnered with Intel. They have been a great corporate partner for us from the very beginning, and they both supplied us with just support and marketing, but also with great products. They have a great gaming device, and it's like a single console called the Nook. It's the new Intel Nook, and we've had a chance to give about 100 of those away to all kinds of HBCUs nationwide. Florida Memorial, North Carolina A&T, etc. So every hour, we're going to be giving away a different Intel Nook, and Tracey's going to tell you more about the program and our winner.
Okay, and so thank you to Intel and our partners there. We have my girl, Morgan Daniels, is helping on social media. So she just sent me the first name for the winner. His name is Kelsey, or maybe it's a girl, Kelsey Beckford at K_BECKZ at K_Becks. Kelsey just won the first Nook for inviting 15 friends to watch. Thanks, Andrea. For inviting 15 friends and tagging them to watch this stream-a-thon tonight and make good trouble with us. So Kelsey, thank you for making that good trouble John Lewis style with us. And we will get your info, of course, from Morgan and make sure that we get you that. And we're also, through the partnership with Intel, throwing in $100 for the peripherals, because the way this works, which is really cool, you can plug the Nook into a television or a computer. You can take it anywhere and set it up. You can, do your social distance learning, but you just need the keyboard and the mouse. So we'll be providing Kelsey with the extra $100 to get those things, and with the Nook computer. And ask our good friends down at Florida Memorial. They did a whole giveaway, which we gave them computers for all of their student athletes, courtesy of President Jaffrick and the other team, Hardwick, and the other members there. It was really awesome. So they loved them, and we're happy to give that away to Kelsey. And back to you, Kwame.
Well, the great thing about the Nook, and I wish I had one, we can't get them to the senior partners, but to all the students, we're all about bridging the digital divide. So we know that students had to go home after March, and a lot of them didn't have computers. George, you want to talk about some of your former players and the technology issues they experienced, and why we started to partner with Intel and the computer drive?
Yes, we started the computer tech for COVID back when COVID hit in February. I had about 13 student athletes that didn't have computers when they were sent home. And we were able to purchase computers for them so they can go home and continue their education. Like we know, a lot of students on HBCU campus take advantage of the labs and their friends' computers. They share devices. And I had a few student athletes when had the challenge of not being on campus anymore, weren't prepared to purchase their devices. And Intel was able to give out some devices and help some student athletes finish their education for the spring and summer.
2020 has been rough, huh, ladies? It has been.
Oh, everybody got to make their 2020 face like. it's like 2020.
It's been rough.
Serious, but I'm gonna tell you straight up. I've looked at students for inspiration, folks like Carson, folks like Bria, folks like Ashan, because you guys have had to deal with something that no one's ever dealt with before, for your own high school graduations, for starting your freshman year, for all kinds of things. So we applaud you, and we applaud our corporate partners who helped us through this very, very rough patch to bridge the digital divide.
Kwame, can I say real quick too that we also are still taking donations. We have given computers to a lot of HBCUs across the nation. However, we get requests all the time for student athletes or just students in general who are still home distance learning and they do not have devices, or there's 3 kids home and there's only 1 computer. The need is great. The need is vast. So if anyone out there does want to donate to help us to get more computer devices to the HBCUs, you can cash up us at $HBCU Heroes, or push that donate button on our website at www.hbcuheroes.org. Any amount will do. Everyone can be an HBCU hero. We always say, if you have $5, you have $100, even if you have a great comment, we'd love to hear it, but we want to keep helping the students. So make sure you donate.
Yeah, our goal when we started our computer drive in response to COVID was to donate 6,000 computers to the HBCU universe. And we've reached about 250, 300 computers given away. So we've got a way to go. We've made some great progress, but we want to continue to bring in different corporate partners to help us take in small donations, because we all know about the power of crowdsourcing. And we're going to commit to bridging that digital divide and helping students through this rough patch, and to make sure that Black students in particular at HBCUs are plugged into the network they need to be plugged into. They're communicating with each other like this in the Zoom. We encourage all of you all to chat with each other and follow up with each other's information, because this is a nationwide network. This is the first time something like this has ever been put together, and we're working through some of the rough patches, but we're getting there. And so
and Mercury's in retrograde, which I keep saying. I told that to our publicist Tasha, and she agreed with me. This is why sometimes these things happen, because Mercury's in retrograde. So, but we've got, Kwame, we've got some new faces here that you want to introduce. I even see the mask up, which I'm loving. I didn't wear my mask, but I'm loving that. Go ahead, girls. Tell us who you are and where you at.
Yes, we have a few new faces. Should we do that now, or should we jump into our next music segment?
Oh, yes. Is that?
Yes, let's do that. We're gonna hold off. We appreciate everybody joining us, and you're all gonna get a chance to introduce yourselves, say where you're repping from, why you're here, etc. But we're gonna go into our segment from Kisia on music. So if you could cue that up, Mr. DJ/producer.
David, our producer, is straight out of Compton. We love that.
His last name is Compton, so we call him David straight out of Compton.
Let's cook. It go right foot, then left. What you ain't gonna do is finesse. We done worked too hard, too long. It's a damn shame we gotta write this song. No justice, no peace. And we tired of crooked police. And if you wanna see some change, then the action starts with me. Everybody go, 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 go. Everybody go, 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 go. Everybody go, go, get the bimbo, go, go, get the bimbo, go, go, get the bimbo, go, go. And since I was a young boy, they say this is the home of the brave. But when I did my history, the truth is such a shame. Mama, they lied to me, they lied. You told me turn the other cheek and I tried. I wanna see Martin dream before I die. And do a little dance, cause nah, I ain't shy. Man, it go right foot, then left. What you ain't gonna do is finesse. We done worked too hard, too long. It's a damn shame we gotta write this song. No justice, no peace. And we tired of crooked police. And if you wanna see some change, then the action starts with me. Everybody go, 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 go. Everybody go, 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 go. Everybody go, go, get the bimbo, go, 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 get the bimbo, go, go, get the bimbo.
Good when I could rehearse a little bit. You can't say it's perfect and then ask me to do it again. Hey, it's Michael Vick, and today we're gonna talk about a voting game plan that might work for you.
Hi, Vic family. Hi, my name is Kiafa Vic. I want to welcome the kids to our humble abode for the next 4 days. Nice.
When I went to register, it was a really cool experience. You know, so I didn't know where I was going. First of all, it was about, an hour away from where I lived. It seemed like Daddy always working and they always having a good time, but it takes more effort than just registering. You gotta go through the whole protocol, I should say.
Today is the day. We are at Broward County Supervisor of Elections, and Michael Vick is turning in his paperwork. So you can vote, baby. Let's go.
I'm always a champion. You know, that's a part of it. That's part of my responsibility in life, and I take it seriously.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's been a long time coming. And another great accomplishment in my life. You know, it's a lot of moving parts. You know, parked on the wrong side, had to go around the back.
You gotta call somebody? We'll be right back. We have a technical difficulty.
Yeah, we're having technical difficulties. We'll be right back. When I got there, you know, the process was real easy. You know, walked through the door and filled out everything I needed to fill out, and you know, got in and out. Do I need to pull up a chair?
Sure. I got on a good side. You're going to the general election. It doesn't matter what party.
They made it fairly easy for me, and you know, I appreciate that part.
So you want your ballot mailed to California, they told me? You know, I'll put this through.
Trip all in all was, you know, was a great experience. It took forever to get out of Texas, but we made it. So I restored my rights, I registered, took a trip across the country, and now it's time to take some other steps. So we got to get into it.
Well, you know, that being said, what would it take to galvanize Black men to the polls, and not only to vote, but to stand on the right side of history?
Let me share some really important statistics that I got from an NPHC, National Panhellenic Council, from all of the Divine Nine fraternity presidents, and particularly from the president of Kappa Alpha Psi, Attorney Reuben Shelton. He shared a couple key things. In 2016, in these states, this is the numbers that were decided by votes. So 113,000 votes decided the 2016 election in Florida, and 379,000 Blacks did not vote in Miami alone. In Michigan, 11,000 votes decided the 2016 election. In Detroit, 277,000 Blacks did not vote alone. 44,000 votes decided the election in Pennsylvania. In Philly alone, 238,000 Blacks didn't vote. In Georgia, 211,000 votes decided the Georgia election. And in Atlanta alone, 530,000 Blacks did not vote. And then lastly, in Milwaukee and Wisconsin, 23,000 people decided the election in Wisconsin, and 93,000 Blacks in Milwaukee alone did not vote. So if you look at those numbers, you see the power on the margin that we have to really move the polls. So when I think to brothers about why they should vote, it's not just that our ancestors died so that we could have an opportunity to be at the poll. You know, I go out here, and I said this just the other day. I voted in my swing state, North Carolina, Charlotte, my hometown, and I told everybody on social media, I voted for Breonna Taylor today. I voted for George Floyd today. I voted for Trayvon Martin today. So if we think about the people who are dying right now in front of us, we don't even have to hearken back to our ancestors to know that we have the house is on fire, and we have to put that out through our vote. And the voting part is only one piece of the agenda. You know, I look at it as a car, right? It has four wheels. You've got economic empowerment, you've got education, you've got voting, and you've got protest. And so each one of those wheels helps get us where we need to go in the car. But essentially voting without it, you know, the car's not going to go. So we have to turn out. We have to understand our power on the margins, and that every vote counts. We are back in our Good Trouble HBCU Takeover. Thank you again for joining us. We have so many new faces from across the nation. I see so much dope Zula gear, Winston-Salem State, Paul Quinn, Spelman. We got all kinds of faces on here. So what I want to do
up in here. Look at these vote squads.
I want to give everybody a chance who hasn't introduced themselves to introduce themselves, say where you're from, what's your major, your name, and your school you're representing, and actually where you're zooming in from, because just because you have on school gear doesn't mean you're obviously there right now. So tell us where you're coming from.
Before we do, can I say this? If they're making good trouble and how they're making good trouble voting, we'd like to hear about it.
That would be great. So let's start, because I'm going to go through the screen with Miss Kiasha. I want to make sure I said your name right.
Is she on mute? You on mute, Kiasha?
Hi.
Hey, Kiasha.
It's Kiesha.
Sorry,
I knew it sounded like you butchered that. I knew it.
I tried.
Okay, well, Hi, I'm Keisha Bryant. I'm from Vallejo,
Kwame,
California.
well, you know, that
I
being
attend
said,
Xavier University of Louisiana as a freshman biology pre-med major. And I'm currently at the school, so I'm currently at Xavier.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks fancy. It looks like you got all kinds of technology behind you. So I figured you were definitely on campus. Now I have a question about Xavier. Is it Zula? Is that y'all's like little like nickname? All right, I like that. That's dope. All right, cool. Well, let's move to and I want to make sure I say it right again. Is it Taraka?
No, it's Terica.
Erica, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm over two. And my name's Kwame, so it's like, it's tough.
Hey everybody, my name is Terica Davis. I'm a junior at the amazing Xavier University of Louisiana. I'm a speech pathology major, minor in education, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
ATL. Yeah.
There we go.
Hey,
Tracey's
everyone.
ATL right now. Is your fellow student logging on too?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yourself.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brianna Carmichael. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I'm a psychology pre-med major here at Xavier University of Louisiana, and I am part of the Zula Prom Squad.
Y'all are smart.
Representing
Free man up in here. I love all this.
They're representing the Chi, and you can see that Xavier's up in here deep. They brought all their spirit professionals trying to really help us.
And stuff, but this is the Xavier little panel we got.
Exactly. We're gonna bring some of that good Zula spirit to this event. So Christopher, why don't you introduce yourself? Because is it the way we comb our hair?
Okay. I'm Christopher Alexander. I'm a senior neuroscience major at Xavier University of Louisiana. I'm actually zooming in from New Orleans. How am I creating good trouble? Actually, I've been donating, which is kind of different for me. I think that's a big thing. Actively donating to Biden and Harris campaign. I actually have a yard sign. So I've seen a few neighbors drive by and, frown their faces. So my yard sign, my donations is my good trouble.
That's right.
No, brother, we really appreciate you. And see, some people don't know this, but the fundamental purpose of Kappa Alpha Psi is achievement. And Christopher's out here.
Human endeavor. Yes, sir.
It's not the good hair thing, because I thought it might be the good hair thing.
There it is. So we're now gonna go next, and I'm probably gonna say it wrong. I'm actually gonna let Tracey say it. You say
no.
Ari.
Go ahead, girl. Go ahead and do your thing. I don't want to.
I'm gonna be over 3. Amiri.
It's fine. I had a feeling it was gonna come out wrong. It's Amir.
Amir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi. Yes, my name is Amir Brandom. I am a senior mass communication major with a minor in political science at the illustrious Xavier University of Louisiana. I am originally from Detroit, Michigan, and some of the power outages from Hurricane Zeta kind of have me come over to Texas. So I'm with family in Houston, Texas, but I'll be back in New Orleans by later this week because I am a member of the Gold Star dance team, and we do have practice later on this week.
I know that's right. And hi to the D. We know all about the D.
Oh, yes. And I would say that I'm proud to say I am making good trouble by making sure that I cast my absentee ballot for Michigan, even though I'm down here in the South, as well as making sure after I voted, I posted it to my social media pages so that my followers and like my platform using that to show them I voted. So have you yet?
Thank you, Amir. That's wonderful.
I'm loving this good trouble.
Yeah, wonderful leadership. And most of all, I love that Texas accent. I hear it. It sounds nice. I'm like, make me a whole pile of ribs and some brisket and everything.
Come down. We get it all together. I love it.
All right, I'm going to try again. I'm 0 for 3. I'm going to say this is Miani. Did I win? Finally. I hit the shot. Go ahead, Miani.
Hi, everyone. I'm Miani Stewart. I'm a junior here at Xavier University of Louisiana from Philadelphia. I'm a psychology major, sociology minor, and I'm a member of the Gold Star dance team. And I'm zooming in from New Orleans.
Awesome.
Can I just say one thing? Because I got to tell y'all this. Sometimes you hear about, like, when people go to school, and you all are familiar with everyone because you are at the same school or you have other friends at HBCUs. But when you're in college, it's so daily. The effort is daily, and you see your friends. I am so impressed with all of you. Every single one of you, you're doing your civic engagement, your community engagement. You all are out here making good trouble, making a way out of no way. You've been through Zeta. I mean, there's so many things happening, but y'all are winning. And I'm sitting here like, wow. Well, I don't know if we were this sharp coming along or not, George, but
no, we were coasting with no COVID and all that. These are the warriors.
Exactly.
It's like, what you don't understand is this is going to build a level of resilience in your life that you will be able to draw on for the rest of your life. When anything goes wrong, when the road is not smooth, you're going to look back and you're going to be like,
it ain't worse than 2020, right?
I made it through COVID. I started my freshman year digital, so you can't tell me nothing. So I appreciate you all, and we're learning from you all and are inspired by you all. So thank you so much, Miani. And let's go to Chardonnay. Hopefully I got it right.
That is correct.
Better.
I'm changing my shot percentage right now.
My name is Chardonnay Lee. I am a junior at Xavier University of Louisiana. I'm a chemistry pre-med major, double minor in Spanish and biology.
Wow.
And I am from Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm currently in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Awesome. And how are you making good trouble?
Or
she's coming back. She's on mute.
Okay.
Chardonnay, how are you making good trouble?
I would say that I'm making good trouble by actively, making my followers see that voting is important, retweeting, making sure that, my followers see as well as I see, watch the debates that happen, of course, getting involved into planning watch parties at the school so that students on campus can go see if they don't have any means of seeing the debate, just being active in voting. Really.
We appreciate you. We really appreciate you. So what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. We all know that. I got her. Go, Cameron. It's on you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cameron Bragula. I'm a freshman here at Xavier University. I'm an accounting major. Also on the Xavier cheer team. Originally from Kansas City, Missouri. The way I'm making good trouble is I'm involved and I'm getting me as well as others engaged. I'm a part of about 3 or 4 organizations here. Other than cheer, I'm a part of Zula Fashion Society as well as National Association of Black Accountants. So with those organizations, with each of those, we're making everyone involved and we're spreading the word to vote. I don't know if you guys have seen, but my cheer team, we actually did a cheer and made a video and posted getting people out to vote and get to the polls. So this is my first time voting and I'm trying to get other people my age who have just turned 18 or who are 18 and it's their first time voting to vote, because that vote matters and it's very important.
That kind of good trouble. Go ahead. That's great.
Cameron, this is a separate question and I don't want to go too long, but tell us about your first time voting experiences. We have a lot of first time voters on here. Tell us about what that's like.
My first time voting, I actually did an absentee ballot, so it was kind of different than actually going to the polls and waiting in line. But after I filled it out and I turned in and got it notarized, it felt really amazing to know that I'm engaged and I'm active in civil rights and in my own life as a citizen here. It felt great.
That's awesome. I think that's such a great thing and a special thing. I remember my first time voting. I know Tracey does as well, George Lynch. I met this candidate who came when I was a freshman at school called Bill Clinton. He walked off the plane and was like, "Oh, I'm a governor in Arkansas and I want to," and we were like, "Oh, you seem cool." So that's definitely how that went down in North Carolina. Let's go to Antoinette. I know I got that one right.
You did. Hi, everyone. My name is Antoinette Williams. I'm a senior here at the illustrious Xavier University of Louisiana. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, so I'm home and I'm zooming in from home. I'm a political science major with a minor in education. And the way that I'm getting into good trouble is I'm currently running for office here in New Orleans. So I'm a candidate for the Orleans Parish School Board in District 5. My name will be on the ballots tomorrow, so that's super exciting. And in addition to that, getting everyone informed about all of the local elections we have here in New Orleans, in addition to the national elections.
Oh,
have you had a chance, Antoinette? Have you had a chance to meet Oliver Thomas?
I haven't.
I need to introduce you to him.
So I have been on WBOK. I think that's the station he's on, correct?
Yes, yes.
I have had 2 opportunities to be on that radio station, but I haven't met him personally yet, no.
Yeah, okay, because I lived in New Orleans for 3 years, and he showed me around the city, showed me the spots to go to, the spots not to go to. He was a great mentor to me while I spent my time with the Hornets.
Yeah.
Well, we'll make sure to connect after this. Thank you all so much.
I will. Yep.
She's a networker. I love that. George, for you guys who don't know, so G. Lynch played for the NBA. He played for the Lakers, the Sixers, the Hornets, and some other teams. So we are happy because he is part of that larger national circle of NBA players and WNBA players. Shout out to our girl, Renee Montgomery, who are really leading the charge there. So we really, really appreciate his leadership here. But who's next?
I was just gonna add that don't let George play Mr. Humble. He played for the Lakers with a guy you might know called Magic Johnson. You know, I don't know if you ever heard of him. He played for the 76ers with a guy you might know called Allen Iverson. So it's like, I don't know. It's like, so George is in the building. Don't let him just like play the low. George is definitely an NBA veteran. I think it's 12 years he played in the NBA and was a national championship at UNC.
And he coached at Clark CAU. He coached at,
and that's where all this started. George was coaching at Clark University, and he saw that all the resources he had at UNC and the NBA weren't there at the HBCU level. And so he really buckled down and said, how do we start to bridge that divide and really level the playing field for resources, for scholarships, for facilities, for technology, for HBCUs? Pulled in Tracey and I, and here we are today with HBCU Heroes. So hats off to George. He can still out-dunk me. You know.
Thank you, Kwame. Thank you, Kwame.
There we go. We're gonna go to a Winston-Salem State Ram, Mr. Tavin Felton Stackhouse. You got to be an author with that name.
It's Taven.
Oh, sorry, Taven.
You were so close.
I am a senior political science major, mass comm minor from High Point, North Carolina. I attend the latest HBCU on the planet, Winston-Salem State University.
That's right.
I'm currently on campus right now. And I think my co-chair is here, and we serve as the SGA Political Action Committee chairs of Winston-Salem State University.
Yeah, we met her, yeah.
The good trouble that we've been causing on campus is a number of things. 2 of the biggest things we've done is our March to the Polls. The first one we did with the student body, and the second one we did with the student body, the community, and Chris Paul himself. We've also been doing weekly Instagram lives to educate our student body on the importance of voting and how to request absentee ballots and why it's important to vote in general.
That's amazing. Amazing.
That's it. Winston-Salem State Rams representing. So we appreciate you, brother. Is that everybody who is new get a chance to introduce themselves? I want to make sure, because I know some people are secret with no camera and all that, you know, playing CIA on me. But, you know, I want to make sure everybody had a chance to introduce themselves. Okay. Well, if that's the case, quickly, since I did promise Bria she could do this, all of us are trying to figure out how to be in the Zoom and at the same time watch some of the content. This is like how we're fixing that. So Bria, if you could explain in like 1 minute or less what you did to do that, maybe some of us could do that at home.
No worries. So as long as you have another browser open, you can go ahead and check out the actual event that is being shown live on YouTube. I will post it in the Zoom chat right now.
This is awesome.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and click on that. It'll open up a new browser for you. Slide over your Zoom. If you take it out of full screen real quick, slide over Zoom. And then that way you should have 2 browsers open. You can see your YouTube video, put that on mute if you want. And then you should be able to see your Zoom meeting as well.
This is why.
Oh, this is live.
HBCU. I love this.
Filming in the building. They are in the building. Okay, so I got as far as the split screen with the chat, so I'll figure out the rest later. But I want to thank you, Bria, for the quick tutorial. You know, we lean on Gen Z heavy for leading us in technology, and that's why we have so many great tech partners like Intel, Verizon Media, folks who want to see you all win. We actually are going to be doing some great things in the esports space coming up later this year. We're going to be doing a holiday tournament for HBCU esports. We know how many gamers we have out there. Raise your hand. No gamers? Okay, at least 1, 2. There we go.
We got some girl gamers too. That's what we need.
Of course. And we know that everybody doesn't know this, but gaming is a bigger industry than movies. That, like, when I found out that stat, that blew my mind. There is more money and more revenue around gaming than there are in motion pictures. So gaming is not just the future, it's the present. And we're going to make sure that HBCUers are plugged into that. We're going to move through some of the content now. I know we had a chance to watch our Black Male Vote panel. And I did that panel with Black Enterprise and Be Heard Talk about a week ago. And it was really in response to your boy Ice Cube doing his platinum plan endorsement. You know, now we had your boy Lil Wayne doing his platinum plan endorsement. And it was about basically, how do people feel around why either Black men are or not engaging in the election, and some of the issues that we see that are relevant to Black men. So I know we have a lot of lovely ladies here on this Zoom, but I want to make sure we hear from the gentlemen in terms of why you think Black male voting is important. I know that, Tavin, we're going to start with you. What do you think about Black male voting? Obviously, you're in a political action committee. And what do you think about, you know, our two favorites, Ice Cube and Lil Wayne?
Black male voting is important to me. A lot of our males in our community should use their right to go out and vote to support, because as we've seen in previous elections, Black women have been showing out and going crazy when it comes to voting and making sure that their voice is heard. So Black males need to step up and do the exact same thing to make sure that we're being just as supportive, if not more. The platinum plan, for me, it caught me off guard, because it was weird just seeing the picture with Ice Cube and Lil Wayne a couple of days ago. Because for me, we had this discussion in class where it was like, they feel like they're heard, but they don't understand that it's only to be used and like showed off pretty much. Like, hey, a Black person supports me that is really known with Black people, so y'all should vote for me because a Black person is here that supports me in what I'm doing. See, I'm not racist. This person's here, but I don't think they understand it or have seen it, because I think the last election cycle, when it was Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, later they realized what they were actually being used for and tried to distance themselves from it. But by then it was kind of like, you already showed us, it's a little late now.
Yep. Well, we appreciate you. And it's always good to get a Gen Z young Black male perspective. I want to get one more, and then we're going to go into a different segment. Christopher, my frat brother, tell me about Black male voting, some of the issues we face, and your reaction to the platinum plan that you saw.
Okay, so I feel as though amongst Black men, one of the main issues we face is that we've, as a collective, accepted the fact that this fallacy that our voice does not matter. You know, I was actually just on social media, and a lot of people were saying because Trump was putting up a fence around the White House, they've already reelected him. You know, and a lot of Black men were agreeing, like, you know, what's the point of voting? They've already reelected Trump. I think that we need to figure out a way of understanding that this system that we live in is either going to work for us or against us. And the way that we can get it to work for us is that our voices need to be heard, that we have to go out and vote. I was actually watching another one of our frat brothers on YouTube break down the Electoral College and explaining how, yes, maybe on the larger scale of things, your vote may not count as much, but on your state level with those electoral colleges, your vote matters. We have to vote for our states, vote for our cities. You know, I'm looking at the fact that it's a day for election and we have our Democratic candidates in Georgia, in Texas, the typically red states, and they have a chance of flipping them blue. And the reason being is because those disenfranchised voters, those people who typically weren't voting before, are showing out in droves. And that's what we have to understand, that our votes do matter. In regards to the Platinum Plan, I think it's a promise, just like his promise to repeal and replace Obamacare. We're 4 years into his presidency. He hasn't repealed it, nor has he presented an actual plan to replace it. So I think this Platinum Plan is him just grasping for some type of savior within the Black community. And unfortunately, we have people who have great platforms within our community falling for the nonsense. And those people are, Lil Wayne and Ice Cube.
Okay. I will say this, because we are supposed to be here at HBCU Heroes. We're supposed to be nonpartisan. So I know Kwame, Kwame was on The Apprentice. I don't know if y'all remember Kwame when it was the year that Omarosa was on, right, Kwame, that you were the first runner-up after her. And so Kwame has some strong feelings, and I'm sure that it'll come out tonight how he feels about all this. But we did just want to put that little note in and say we're supposed to be nonpartisan on our end. Go ahead, Kwame.
Yeah, no, the only thing I would say is on our end, and I was actually on a panel earlier today with another organization that supports Black voting, and he said a great thing. He said, my organization is nonpartisan, but I am not. And so that's exactly how I feel. I cannot speak on behalf of HBCU Heroes, but I'll speak on behalf of Kwame Jackson all day and my thoughts on Black male voting. But I really wanted to hear from Gen Z, and we're going to give a chance for a few new people to introduce themselves shortly. But Tracey has another segment that we want to line up, and we'll go from there into introducing some new folks and faces.
Well, since we have Xavier on, now, first of all, I have to say I would be remiss if we did not say a happy shout out, big ups, all that good stuff to our HBCU Heroes ambassador, Chris Broussard. Chris Broussard, a lot of you HBCUers at Xavier might know, he didn't go there, but he is a proponent for HBCUs and for people making sure that they at least either look into going to HBCUs or go to HBCUs, because he's big at that. He and his family, 20 of his family members have gone to Xavier, and he has, their family has created the Broussard Foundation, where they give scholarships every year out to Xavier students. So gotta say shout out to him. Gotta say shout out to Chris Paul for the WSSU team there. And now we're gonna see the Xavier cheerleaders vote video that you all were talking about earlier. We're gonna head out with that, and then we'll be back in just a few minutes, and you guys stick with us and stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Keep partying.
I'm so glad you corrected.
Look, that's why I stick to Zula.
I'm gonna have to tell them that you told me that, and
exactly. I blame it on me.
Chris Broussard will be upset, so exactly. I will let him know. Yes. How many seconds do we have coming back?
Hey, well, we're back. We didn't know we were back, but we're back. I was just gonna say one quick thing. Tracey, you talked about the importance of HBCUs and how Chris Broussard, who's affiliated with Zula and Xavier University, didn't go to Xavier or an HBCU, but many people in the HBCU Heroes community did not attend a school, but they have an affiliation, a love, or a touch point from a parent or a relative who did. I'm the son of 2 Howard University graduates, and I have a love for Howard and other HBCUs that was instilled to me by my parents to know how much that has meant to them and their own progress. And so all of us on here, we really want to emphasize the fact that whether you went to an HBCU or not, you can be a hero to an HBCU. You can elevate it, you can fund it, you can help raise the platform, and you can help all these wonderful students that we have on here connect. And that's what this is about, building that network. Tracey, go ahead.
Kwame, you can also be corrected by an HBCUer because because I was just politely told that I have been pronouncing it Xavier with my Southern Belle accent, and it's Xavier. And so I had to apologize publicly because they just pulled my little chain and said, excuse me, it's not Xavier, it's Xavier. So Zula, Xavier, I apologize. I'm sure all y'all out there were cringing, but I just got me a little bit of education myself. So thank you all for that.
Tracy,
and I would like to say, go ahead, Kwame. I would like to say that, you know, Chris Broussard, he was also a big advocate for high five-star athletes, looking at HBCUs as a possibility to play their athletics. So we'd like to give a shout out to Chris Broussard for starting that conversation with a lot of reporters on Fox.
Xavier
ESPN.
or Xavier, George?
And
Xavier. Xavier.
Look, I was gonna say,
and I should know. I spent some time in New Orleans, so.
I was gonna say, when homecoming does come back around, and we have, you know, the bands and the fish fry and everything, Tracey is not gonna get a fish fry plate.
No, I'm not even gonna get invited to barbecue.
So it's all good. It's all good. Well, we appreciate everybody who's joined us. The screen keeps getting bigger and bigger, so we want to make sure some of the new faces get a chance to introduce themselves before we go into our next segment. So I know I want to make sure I say it right, Rafael Tejada, Mr. Cheney, is sitting there all decked out in his Cheney gear. See you. I see you.
See you.
Make sure you introduce yourself, say where you're from, your name, your major, and how you're making good trouble.
So hi everyone, my name is Rafael Emilio Tejeda. I am a first generation American. I go to the first HBCU, Cheney University. I am the reigning and 9th Mr. Cheney University, and it's a pleasure to be here. I would say I'm making good trouble by simply promoting voting with everything going on right now with police brutality. I've definitely been promoting that and making sure that my campus stays on the know and stays positive and in good trouble. Thank you.
And can I say this too? Oh, I was going to say that D.L. Hughley, who you all might know, he's a best-selling New York Times author, TV show personality, radio show host, podcaster. He actually adopted Lincoln. I know you went to Cheney, but he adopted Lincoln of Pennsylvania, Lincoln U. And now we got Cheney. You guys are kind of right there together. So just throwing that in there because we now are looking for a Cheney adopted HBCUer. So we'll have to tell them that we know you now and we can link them all together. We need
send them my way.
Yeah.
One of the things we specialize in and we try and do is connect culture and community and college campus life. That's where we really sit at that nexus. And so part of, you know, owning the culture as African Americans, as Hispanic Americans, and really leveraging that through our celebrity relationships to make sure that folks are adopting HBCUs, using their platforms to promote HBCUs. And that's where we get folks like D.L. Hughley, we get folks like Chris Broussard, Shannon Sharp, who really want to lend their platform to adopt an HBCU and elevate that to the next level. So we really appreciate them. We have another new face, and he's got that dope orange on. So I know he knows who I'm talking about. Go ahead and strike for me, Xavier. Go ahead
Come on now, that's the only way to do it. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Xavier McClinton, a fourth-year economics student from Brunswick, Georgia, currently attending Florida Agricultural Mechanical University, where I have the privilege to serve as a 69th Student Government Association president.
And how are you making good trouble, Xavier?
Oh man, there's so many ways, but I mean, we're Saturday mornings, we wake up and go out campus, the South Side Tallahassee community, making sure that the citizens and I guess community members are registered to vote and that they know how to vote and they're kind of educated about what's on the ballot. Reminding students every day to go out and vote, trying to put together shuttles from SGA to get them to and from the polls, just trying to raise awareness in so many different ways. I actually just finished shooting a video that we're going to release tomorrow as a PSA. So We're trying just every day just to get people kind of engaged and knowing about what's going on.
Xavier, shoot us that video and we'll make sure that we get it on our social media too, because you were on our last Good Trouble Streamathon in July. So
yes,
I know you all did the Down the Vote, showing people how to vote, you and Jasmine Burke and a couple others. So thank you for coming back with us again. We appreciate that.
Yeah, glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Xavier's got albums dropping. He's got videos being made, bottles being popped. I'm not even going to tell you because this is not the place or time. How much time I spent at FAMU down on the yard with my boy who was president of the Kappas at the front house. We're going to forward that to a different discussion, but FAMU is all the way live and then
look, we miss homecoming this year, but as soon as we get it back, we're gonna be ready to go and get back to that rally spirit we know.
We appreciate you, good brother. We appreciate you joining us. So I think that's all the new faces. We're gonna go into our next segment. Tracey, you want to introduce our next segment here?
I don't. You go ahead.
I'll introduce our next segment. We're gonna play. I think we have our Rick Ross video teed up. David, is that true?
Let's hope so.
There we go. It's like I got a secret DJ behind me, to drop.
You can tell neither one of us have our run of show out. So yeah, David, take it away.
I have mine. I got it under control.
Let's take a look. Somebody lied. I got a in the car. If I died today, remember me like John Lennon. Buried in Louis, I'm talking all brown linen. Make all of my tattoo my logo on they. Put a statue over there in the middle of the city. Load up like it's December 31st. Roll up and cock it and hit them looking where it hurts. Told on my partner and help them give them 30. I told him I got him, therefore I gotta do you dirty. Back to my biz, been in this 8:30. Scoop me a dime, now man get off at 10:30. Going on 12, go home and tell that man a lie. I got a bake sale, 30 for the pie. 9 for the slice dummy, that's a damn Marino. Talking quarterbacks, meaning talking quarter. Looking from a pain, I ain't even gotta say it. Where I come from, if you open it, you paying. How can I save when all my niggas in the can? Am I my brother's keeper, mother? Take my hand. Pull up to the club, I got a in the car. Black card, butter, looking Mendocino, set the bar. I'm not a star. I'm not a star. I'm not a star. I'm not a star. All black Lamborghini smoking on the sticky. Got a couple dollars, now this looking Vicky Ricky. Pull up to the club,
Wait. The pretty boys are strolling through. Don't you dare break that line.
That I was going to be the opening speaker at the march in Washington, D.C.
I put the hashtag in front of Black Lives Matter. I was like, we're going to make this thing go viral.
We kind of watched with wonder as the story started to take off like wildfire.
I got a call saying, do you want to come over and join us? I said yes, because I was mad.
We are not done. We are far from done.
This guy before you came in, so you say you never talked to him. You can go ahead and say hi to him.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Colin?
Hello?
Congressman John Lewis.
Hi, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How you doing, brother?
Fine. Thank you for all of your work, for your leadership. You have touched me. You have inspired me, and to see you getting out there pushing and kneeling, you have done so much, not just for the American community, but for the world community.
We are back in our HBCU Good Trouble Takeover. The screen just keeps getting bigger and bigger with faces. It seems like we're getting the whole 107 HBCU universe recognized and excited and energized to vote. I know we just came out of a great segment with John Lewis and Colin Kaepernick. And so Tracey, if you want to give a little synopsis of that for everybody who might not have had a chance to see it, let's have a discussion about it.
Perfect. The thing that was just really compelling to me about this is Roland Martin just came on and introduced Colin Kaepernick to the late Congressman, civil rights icon, John Lewis. And so it was a phone conversation, but you could tell when John Lewis was saying how he really appreciated Colin's work and he wanted him to keep up the good work. It was sort of a pass the torch moment. And Colin Kaepernick, I think, felt the way we all on this side of John Lewis would have felt, that like, this is the legend passing the torch, and you could hear it coming through the phone in the interview. So I kind of wanted to open it up and just kind of see what you guys think about that, about Colin Kaepernick's work and kneeling back when it wasn't even cool to make that kind of good trouble and kneel, and where we are now with our social protest and making good trouble John Lewis style, because as we said earlier, John Lewis also had been, well, Colin hasn't, I don't think, but John Lewis had been arrested over 40 times in the protest that he did. And so we just kind of wanted to open it up. And I don't know, Kwame, if you want to kind of go around and
well, let me start that since I'm
but before
athlete.
you started, George, I have to say an important PSA. Colin Kaepernick is a man of Kappa Alpha Psi.
Is that important?
University of Nevada. You see what time it is up in here.
Yeah, we don't.
And not just that, but we
Sorry,
also.
some of us missed that.
A lot of people don't know that John Lewis is a man of Phi Beta Sigma at Fisk University. So the D9 is leading, and we appreciate that. And I'll let George open up the discussion.
George,
yes, you know, being a former athlete, and I played professionally in '93. You know, a lot of athletes wasn't speaking out. You know, back when I was playing, the so-called superstars was Magic Johnson. You know, Michael Jordan was at his prime. Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, and guys were afraid, in my eyes, to step up and speak out because of the endorsements. They didn't want to lose their endorsements. They didn't have the corporate backing. And to see what LeBron and Chris Paul and Colin Kaepernick is doing today, leading that charge, and Kaepernick sticking his neck out there for the entire sports world and the Black community, I think is, you know, for a former athlete to come up during that time, I think is, you know, I have to bow down to him, because, and if I ever see him in person, I would definitely show my respects to the sacrifices he made on behalf of all Black Lives Matter situations.
Well stated.
We appreciate those words from a veteran athlete and NBA leader like George. We're proud that you're, you know, one of our co-founders, and you brought this whole organization together. Who wants to kick off a conversation from a student perspective about what they think about tying that line between Colin Kaepernick and John Lewis? You know, that's a long timeline, and we know that the struggle continues, and now the struggle and the baton has been passed to you all. What are your thoughts on Colin Kaepernick and his activism in the sports space? Anyone can start.
I'll start. I think it's very important that we understand, like, the fact that politics mix with all aspects of our lives, including sports. So I think it's interesting when people would say that the athletes should just dribble a ball or stay in their place, when in actuality, things like public policy affect every part of our daily lives, whether it be the intersection between education and politics or athletics and politics. So I think it was really important to see what Colin Kaepernick did and what a lot of the other athletes are doing as well, in tying that gap between athletics and politics, to show, like, whatever your platform is, wherever your voice is strong, you can use that voice to advocate for the change that you want to see in your community.
That's powerful. Look, that's the elevator pitch on civil rights right there. Okay, next, anybody want to comment on Colin and John Lewis and that through line?
I'll go. I agree with what she just said. I believe that it made a huge impact, and it was very inspiring. not only did it show courageousness and braveness, but it also made an impact on the whole athletics world. You know, like everybody remembers that moment, like of Colin Kaepernick kneeling at the national anthem. So I believe that he made good trouble. He showed bravery, and with that, it's not about him being mischievous or him, you know, trying to disrespect the national anthem. It was more so about making a statement and standing on what he believes in, and, you know, doing what's right for an outcome.
Yep. I'm a firm believer that in time, not only is the NFL going to apologize to Colin Kaepernick, but he will be revered just like Muhammad Ali, just like Jackie Robinson. We all know that a lot of the iconic greats who stood up for something weren't revered, but in fact, they were sneered at during their time. And so I think it's only a matter of time before we see, you know, the true greatness that's recognized by society of what he stood for and what John Lewis stood for as well. So any other comments on John Lewis and Colin Kaepernick?
Yeah, Kwame, I think you made a great point there about kind of some of our great civil rights leaders being kind of ostracized at the moment that they started, and that they started. Even MLK was controversial when he started, and now you look at how revered he is, and how across America he's viewed as this American hero. When in the moment nobody, or I guess one side of the U.S. didn't believe in that. And so when you think about athletes who go out and speak out and they say what they voice their opinions, I think a lot of times it boils down to who's saying it, and basically what race is saying and what they're saying. Because I mean, it's on one hand, it's not okay for LeBron James and Colin Kaepernick to come in and say something when they put my money and energy and time behind an issue and something that they're passionate about. But Brett Favre and Joe Flacco and can come on and say something different, and now this is a respected statement all of a sudden. So we know kind of where that comes from and what that's all about. But it's something that we have to kind of continue to push forward on. I think that Colin Kaepernick started off and did something that really took some real bravery for him to come out and do that, and really stood with it. I mean, now you see NBA players and MLB players and a lot of NFL players that are doing it now because it's more accepted. But he was the only one when he first started it to go in, and he's actually kind of taken a lot of losses from it. So it's a big conversation starter. I remember being in high school when he first started, and we actually had a conversation about what he was doing, how that affected us, and how that made us feel as individuals in my American history class. And being one of only 2 Black individuals in that class, to really break down some of the issues that I was facing and some of the challenges that I was facing, and what he was trying to speak out about at the moment was a really great opportunity to kind of open the eyes of some individuals that don't see that and then don't experience that on a day-to-day basis.
You know, I think that's a powerful statement, because I was talking with this older Kappa who pledged at Howard in the 60s. And he told me this great story. He was like, I remember when Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay at the time, came on campus, stood in front of the Howard University Student Union and said, "You will no longer call me Cassius Clay. My name is Muhammad Ali." He was like, I was there for that. And so that's iconic history that was made at Howard University. And I'm hearing a firsthand story from one of my older fraternity brothers. But what I want to do is connect that to let you all know that you have your own Muhammad Ali in your generation who's standing up right now doing his thing. And you're going to look back on this moment and know that history shifted because of this one individual and the actions that he started. So be proud of that and understand how much of a shift is happening right now under your watch and how you can continue that legacy. Any additional comments on Kaepernick and John Lewis and making good trouble?
Yeah, I'll go. I wanted to say that I definitely agreed with what everyone else said about Colin Kaepernick being such an influential person in our generation. I feel like history a lot of the time is forgotten or not told properly. And something that I got from the John Lewis movie was I never realized being born in the 90s that lunch counters were segregated. So watching that in the movie and seeing that, you know, like they got beaten for just trying to simply get a cup of coffee, that was really eye-opening for me. So comparing that to Colin Kaepernick, I definitely see the comparison on Colin Kaepernick was the first person, I want to say 16 when he did the kneeling. He was the first person that I seen get demonized for having a Black opinion. You know, because I see like, if someone wants to support Trump or someone wants to be Republican, they don't get ostracized or get the same treatment or treatment than they do if they try to support a Black opinion or something that isn't in the majority. So yeah, that's my comment.
That was powerful.
Great comment.
Yeah. And I think we don't realize that sometimes that you know, people who are born, you know, obviously not in the 60s or 70s, but are born in the 90s or the 2000s, like you all are, you wouldn't know all of those things that happened, the trailblazers who paved the way, like John Lewis. And I really appreciate you sharing that comment, because even though it's not like 100 years ago, it's just not even in the time frame where you were born at. That's really interesting.
Yep. That's a great comment, because that really helps us understand, once again, that historic through line between John Lewis and Colin Kaepernick, and to know that everybody builds on the sacrifice of the people that came before him. There's a great quote that I often use as a professional speaker, and it says, "We all drink from wells that we did not dig." Think about that. We all drink from wells that we did not dig, whether it's their parents or your grandparents or people who really dug that well so that you could have a nice, cool glass of water. And we need to remember that as we think about our struggle, and we think about social justice and folks like Colin Kaepernick and John Lewis. So any more comments about John Lewis and Colin Kaepernick and that part of the struggle? Awesome.
Polls, that's next. We got it.
So I want to give a chance before we go into our next segment, which we're going to have a discussion about actually Black female voting, since we talked about Black male voting, and we'll let our Spelman ladies kick that off at the capital of Black female leadership. And before we do that, though, we've got a bunch of new faces, and so we want to keep it lit and keep this network building. I mean, I'm meeting people from all across the nation. I know you're meeting people from all across the nation. Everybody's got on their dope Nelia, their dope school gear. So let's start with some new faces. Let me see who's here. Mr. Jordan Walker. I see you there. You didn't even know. You're going to come on here. You're going to introduce yourself. You're going to say your name, what school you're from, and how you're making good trouble. Who you representing?
So, put me on the spot, but hi, my name is Jordan Walker. I'm a junior mechanical engineering student here at North Carolina A&T, as well as part of the Alpha Nu chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. But how we're stirring up trouble. We've been doing a lot of voter initiation stuff here at North Carolina A&T. We've been out the polls about every day. I'm honestly working, day and night here at A&T. And it's been a very big push from our school for our students to get out and vote. In 2016, we didn't do a good job of that. I wasn't in school then, but we really wanted to turn that around this year, especially with this election being such a major one. So the Alpha Nu chapter has been, doing some great work day in and day out. So we're hoping that it pays off, and we'll see what the results are tomorrow.
Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride. You representing that Aggie Pride, Jordan, and we appreciate you representing the Noops as well.
Yes,
they
sir.
made a great video that we're going to show later in the broadcast on voting, both the Kappas and the Deltas there at North Carolina A&T. And this is such a cool network. There we go. I see Andrea. It's like, this is such a cool network because you're getting to connect everybody from Paul Quinn to Spelman to FAMU to North Carolina A&T. We're now going to slide right down to
Xavier.
Yeah, we're Xavier, of course, but we're going to slide down to the ATL. I see the shirts. We're going to go to Shannon Smith, and we're going to see what time it is at Clark Atlanta University and the AT Aliens. So introduce yourself, your major, where you're from, and how you're making good trouble.
All right, sounds good. So thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. My name is Shannon Smith. I currently attend Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia, where I am in my first year of my MBA program. I'm a grad student this year with a concentration in finance. So it's great to be here, and I'll pass it off to you.
So my name is Chanel. I just graduated in May of 2020, from Clark Atlanta University with a biology degree. And I would say the younger generation is very big on social media. That's kind of like our outlet. So for me, I've just been posting, reposting, and trying to do all that I can just to get the word out.
Exactly. And for me, making good trouble, I've just been talking to everyone, I mean, it's a big time, and people before us fought so hard for us to have a voice, and we can't let them down because that's something that we need. So that's how I'm making good trouble, just keeping the word out there, being on social media just like her, and just pushing the word out.
That's awesome. You know, I always get jealous of the brothers with the Barry White deep voice. You know, so, I mean, Shannon just rolls up in here. He's like, "Yeah, I came to vote." And so I appreciate you, Shannon, representing CAU.
You know, Kwame, Shannon is actually, I can let George, because we love Shannon. Shannon was one of George's student athletes at CAU. Shannon is a dean's list, always was on the dean's list. He's just an amazing person, always, and we call a lot, always shows up. He never says, listen, you guys, like he's like an honorary ambassador for HBCU Heroes. We have not officially given him that title, but he kind of is, because we call him on everything, don't we, George?
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, go ahead, George, you're on mute. George, you're on mute.
Next year, Shannon's going to tell us, look, coach, I'm working. I can't help y'all.
I gotta get my master's now. Stop it. Yeah.
I want to make sure as we're connecting everybody, obviously, you know, this is something I do understand, but we have the chat group here. So if folks want to put their Twitter or their email or their Instagram into the chat group so you can connect amongst each other, that would be great, because then you can build your HBCU network, you can build your professional network, and continue to connect. So we appreciate that.
Trouble. And we can always use those to hit them back up for the next time, so that, because that's what we do. We attach, don't we, Shannon? We just get latched on to people, and we just, and Xavier knows too, we just keep our clutches in them. That's how we do. So thank you.
We're building the Good Trouble Network and the HBCU Heroes Network. So I'm now going to go to a place that has a very special meaning in my heart. I told you both of my parents went to Howard University. My mom is Spring 67 Delta Sigma Theta. And so I see the shirt at HU. Lauren, tell us who you are. Tell us your major. Tell us where you're coming in from and how you're making good trouble.
Yes, hello. My name is Lauren Smith. I'm the little sister of Shannon Smith, so it makes me happy, and I'm so proud to hear you speak so highly of my big brother. And I am a junior musical theater major, sociology minor at Howard University, HU, you know. And I am stirring up good trouble alongside my brother with using the social media platforms to speak out against social injustices, as well as voter suppression, things of that nature, as well as uplifting this year's election, especially for the younger voters who are learning how to do this. I'm voting for the first time this year, and I'm very excited to exercise that right for the first time in my life, and to ensure that other people don't take it as a joke, because this is our lives. This is our real lives.
And Lauren, I'll ask you briefly, because we're talking about this whole my first time story. Tell us
Mm-hmm.
about your first time voting. Have you done it already, or are you going to do it tomorrow?
I did a mail-in ballot, which was also very interesting.
Tell us about
So, yeah. That was an interesting experience, because I'm currently in Maryland, but registered to vote in Connecticut, which is where I'm originally from, both me and my brother. And we had actually our mom take our ballots in South Carolina. So a lot of coordination and coordinating, but we are definitely making sure that we get our votes in and our voices heard.
That's awesome. That's what I'm talking about. Way to represent HU, way to represent your parents and your family. Great to have a brother and sister on here dialing in from two different places. And so we appreciate you, HU. Yep. We're going to go to our next participant, and it just happens to be another pretty noob. Bryce Dickerson. Hit us and let us know where you're coming in from, what school you're representing, your major, and how you're making good trouble.
All right, what's good, y'all? Just like Jordan said, I'm also a member of the Alpha Nu chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi. Currently majoring in architectural engineering here at North Carolina A&T State University, the best HBCU. Sorry to say. But regardless, though, of course, this is a big time election, and we're doing everything in our power to make sure that everybody's voices are heard, make sure people are getting to the polls. Been dropping a whole bunch of content on the chapter page and getting all of our brothers to repost, as well as making chapter videos as far as having a voting initiative to push people to vote and also learn why they're voting, learn about things on the ballot, learn who is on the ballot, all those little things that people need to know and have more knowledge of, so that not only for on a nationwide sense, but also a state and a local sense, how who they vote for affects them. So we just been going hard at it.
We appreciate you going hard at it, Bryce. We appreciate the brothers at North Carolina A&T and all that Aggie pride. I think we got a few more new faces in here. Did I get everybody? Or are there a few new? I saw some people pop in and pop out. All good then. What we're gonna do now is go to a few of our PSAs. David, if you have that teed up, we'd love to see the PSA from Chris Paul and Florida Memorial.
Ms. Jackie McWilliams. I'm a commissioner of the CIAA and a proud alumnus of Hampton University. Look, we all know that this year's election is so important. It's so important to our future, our community, the lives of our children, sons and daughters, even your grandparents and your parents. So we need you to vote, students. I'm encouraging every student on every campus to make sure that you are ready and you have a plan. I work in college sports. What we would say, you got to know the play if you want to play in the game. And so part of playing the game is having an action plan. Do you have an action plan? My mother sent me the information so that I can absentee vote in Virginia to Colorado. And I actually did that in 1988. You get to do that too. If you are 18 and older and eligible to vote, I hope you have registered. And no excuses. So you can do an absentee vote, you can vote early, or you can wait till November 3rd. But whatever you do, we know that your voice and vote matters. So get ready, it's almost November 3rd. We're gonna need you to either shimmy, walk, run, stroll, whatever you need to do, get to the polls and cast your vote.
I think is we get so hung up on the big picture. You know, the big picture matters, but it only matters when we all do small things.
Right.
That's how it happens. It's not, hey, let's just post on Twitter and post on Instagram, because yes, social media is huge, we know it, but we have to actually get out there and walk the walk.
I gotta keep the stats. Who's the stat keeper that turns these stats into facts in the practical real life? But we act exactly. It ain't like, all right, let Roland do it, or I'll flip on when I want to get woke, right? Because Roland got it covered. So we got to say that, all right, when you age up, your responsibility up. It ain't for us. It's for somebody else. It's really for those after us. It's for our kids and all those younger, that we have to be able to understand what's coming at us, because it's coming at us at a super accelerated rate. I mean, everybody got a computer attached to their hip. Right. Now, is it a toy or is it a tool? So when you go into it to do the toys and you like this all day, you know, you a bot, that's one thing, but what are you about? And it's going into it and say, okay, we got to keep watch on this. It's our security. It's somebody watching your back of the stats. And there's been so many games played. And the reason why we can't always jump on millennials and millennial disactivity is because these are different people, whether it's the love or hate, different people than it was 20 years ago. People have moved in and people have died off. Right. That's why you always got to keep it like this. You got to always keep the momentum of letting you know, and when you get that person say, oh, I heard this before. I said, you might have heard this before, but the next person ain't heard it at all. So it's a relentless upkeeping of watching your back.
My first time. I remember voting in my first presidential election in 1992. I was 18 years old. Bill Clinton was running against George H.W. Bush, Herbert Walker, which I remember that for some reason. It was an exciting time. Bill Clinton was a young candidate from Arkansas. He had been the governor there. He was a jogger. He was just running all over the place. Every time you looked on TV, there was Bill Clinton jogging somewhere. I think I remember he had an affinity for McDonald's as well. That time was the kind of the end of the Reagan era, which dominated my childhood in the 1980s, and politics and the president's office. It just seemed like a lot of fun. It was a lot of glitz and glamour. So it was really exciting to be a part of that election. And I remember being happy that Clinton won. The excitement continues for elections. Things have gotten a little bit nastier, I would say, but still a very, very important time in our country. I'm Tolly Carr with HBCU Game Day. There were some other first-timers recently in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where I went to school at Winston-Salem State. A superstar. This never happened to me when I was in school. Chris Paul, I mean an NBA royalty superstar, was on campus. He was leading a march to the polls to get everyone encouraged and make sure that everyone had their voice heard by casting their ballot.
Check this out. First and foremost, I want to thank y'all for being out here. Like, for real, for real. I was just telling somebody, it's one of the funnest days of my life, to tell you the truth. Yes, sir. I've been out of Winston now or whatnot, because I just finished my 15th year in the league, which is crazy, right? And how many of y'all know I enrolled at State? Yeah. If I ain't never have more motivation to make sure I get my degree, I got it now. I got it now. And I don't know who freshmen, sophomores, or whatever, but I plan on walking, right? So if your last name is close to Paul or something, we're gonna be lined up one of these days, walking across the stage. But all y'all being out here, why we out here first and foremost? To vote. And it was crazy. Look, check this. It was crazy talking to a young lady as I was walking up here, and I was asking her how it felt for her to vote, and she was like, "Oh, it's cool. It's just one vote." But it's not. And y'all see like the power of having everybody together. And I'm glad that y'all about to walk with me or whatnot. But I just appreciate y'all being out here. Hope you guys really understand how powerful y'all are, like as the youth, right? Like all these group chats and all this stuff like that. Y'all really make a difference. Y'all impact people. And whether y'all think it's cool for me to be out here, hell, I think it's cool for y'all to be out here. So just know y'all making a difference in my life, and I appreciate y'all. So hope y'all got some good shoes on.
We're back here at our Good Trouble Takeover. The party keeps going. We keep adding new faces. Some go, some leave, some stay. We appreciate everybody in the HBC community, from Cheney to Howard to the Noops to Xavier to Paul Quinn to Spelman. We appreciate everybody who's joined in thus far, and we're going to keep this discussion going. We are going to now talk a little bit about voting tomorrow. I know some people will actually still be voting tomorrow. So we wanted to highlight our Lyft partnership again with Lyft. If we could put that graphic up on the screen, and that is a $10 discounted ride to the polls with Lyft. It's available all day from the crack of dawn to the end of voting tomorrow, and that can be used anywhere in the nation. And that's a partnership between Lyft, Social Change Fund, which is Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, and Dwayne Wade, and a number of other athletes, and HBCU Heroes. We got those codes out nationwide, and we wanted to share it on our Zoom and thank our partners at Lyft and thank Social Change Fund, and hopefully get a lot of people out to vote. And you can feel free to share that with your campus communities as well, retweet it, etc. The code, I believe, I always feel like I get it wrong, is HBCU Heroes Vote, no, HBCU Vote 2020. And so if you see that code up,
go back to school, you and me.
You see that code up on the screen, that'll be helpful to get you guys to the polls tomorrow. So we're excited about voting. We're gonna keep the party going. I think we have one new face, and I see her down there in the corner with the dope Xavier hoodie on, Miss Tia Alexander. So we want you to come on and say who you are, where you're zooming in from, your major, and how you're making good trouble. Introduce yourself to the crowd and represent your clique.
Hey guys, my name is Tia Alexander. I'm zooming in from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm a senior at Xavier, majoring in political science pre-law, and I'm also representing SGA as the Chief Justice.
We appreciate you coming on, Tia. Thank you very much. Any other new faces? So Tia is part of Xavier Student Government. We had the cheer and Palm Squad on earlier. Xavier has been one of our great partners, and we've had a chance to give some computers to your institution and have you all on. So we appreciate your support. And we also want to just, give a shout out and just pause for a moment. We know that you went through the hurricane recently with Zeta. And we want you to know that we're showing you love and that we're thinking about you all as you power through and bring Xavier back online and the city of New Orleans back online. So we appreciate it. I think we have one more new face. I think that's from Xavier too. Is that Caleb Hines? Caleb, we want you to come on and introduce yourself, your major, where you're from, and how you're making good trouble.
Hi, y'all. My name is Caleb Hines. I'm from Plano, Texas. I'm a member of the baseball team, a sophomore, business management major with a minor in entrepreneurship. For me, making good trouble is being a part of ASA, which is Association of Student Athletes. We are doing a voter registration initiative, which is what I'm the head of here at Xavier. We have done a social injustice panel with my partner here. We've also made sure everyone on all the sports teams are registered, as well as co-hosted with SGA the presidential debate watch party. And also for me, just taking a knee during the anthem is how I'm making good trouble, because I can't stand for what this country is going through right now, and especially for people like me, of color, and all the police brutality that we've gone through, racial profiling, everything. That's how I'm making good trouble here at Xavier. And
how y'all doing? My name is Denia Horn. I'm a sophomore biology pre-med major here at Xavier, and I'm the co-captain of the Xavier track and field team. And I'm just here to say that we're making good trouble. Like Caleb said, we've done the voter initiative panel. We've, had voters, student athletes vote and just get their voice out and advocate for them. I am from Omaha, Nebraska, so I had to do my absentee ballot a few weeks ago, but that was different for me. My first time doing a presidential vote, so I was just very excited, and I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you so much. That's a wonderful salute. I was just gonna say that you all came a little bit later, but we were talking about sports activism earlier. And since you're both leaders in sports and student athletes, and you talked about the activism that Xavier's a part of, George Lynch, one of our co-founders, is a former NBA player, played with Magic Johnson, played with Allen Iverson at the Sixers, and we talked about the importance of sports activism. What are your thoughts on sports activism at the college level, and how do you guys see speaking up and making good trouble?
Okay, yep. Okay, so I feel like as athletes, and especially as athletes on a college campus and on a Black college campus, we have an enormous voice, and we have people who will follow us, and our actions, they matter a lot. When we have our events, it's very easy for people to follow us and to see and to have our footsteps shown in. So I feel like with us making the initiative and getting it out there, just such as the panel, and having our voices to be heard as athletes, and showing that we're not just athletes, but we're also people, we're also regular students who, have these same problems. We want to just show that our voice matters, and to get other people involved. I feel like we do a great job at that.
You sound great.
In another communication we got a text in from Intel, and Intel is saying that they appreciate all of the panelists being here, especially from Zula, because we know that you all did just go through Zeta. So they want us to do a computer giveaway for an Intel Nook for this panel. The question is, how? So I'm thinking, because the one that we're doing online is you have to have 10 or 15 of your friends to follow and like the panel. So by show of hands, are you raising your hand already, girl? Oh, okay. I was like, by show of hands, who has at least 10 people following them right now and counting along? Okay, so that's 3. So then of those 3, Kwame, what's the next question? We got to narrow it down a little.
Oh, that's a tough one. So we got Carson, Caleb, and Bria as our finalists right now. So 2 Spellman and 1 Xavier. We're gonna ask a question, and whoever gives the best answer, that's how you're gonna win. All right. So let me
come with it.
Yeah, here we go. Are you ready? Talk to me about the difference between the Electoral College and how we elect our leaders. See, that's a tough one.
Is this a everyone gets to answer, or the first person answers?
Only Caleb, Carson, and Bria. Whoever gives the best explanation of the Electoral College and what we either need to keep or change about it, we're gonna award you a brand new Intel Nook.
And
I'm gonna let the ladies go first.
Go ahead. Okay, ladies first. George, you're gonna decide who wins.
Okay, so basically the Electoral College, I can go first. Basically, Electoral College is an estimate of which direction a state is going to go. Personally, I don't necessarily agree with it. It should be based on the popular vote, but instead summarizing basically the votes of that state, the electorates, they decide if their state is going to go to the Democratic side or the Republican side, and then all 50 states do that, and whoever has the most, electoral count votes, they win the election.
That's true. The first person to 270 electoral votes wins the election. All right, Bria.
Yeah, I mean, that was basically what she gave a really good answer. I think for the Electoral College, the way that it's set up doesn't give each person an actual vote, because it's not counted one vote for one person. So I think that's something that could be fixed within our voting system. And also, I wouldn't tend to agree with it. And looking to the future for, how we should actually be able to gain a larger voice. I feel like that would actually be able to better represent our society as a whole, allowing us to, install the people that we want to see installed, and then also not summarizing the votes by each state as well. So that would be my answer.
All right, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. All right, we got 2 answers down. The ladies of Spelman have chimed in, and we're gonna let the brother from Xavier follow it up and give his answer.
So basically what the Electoral College is every state gets a certain number of points. Like you said earlier, it's 270 points to win. There are, I think, 538 points total in the Electoral College. You have a lot of states, like the bigger states like Texas, Cali, and Florida. They're actually swing states because of how many votes they hold. Personally, I feel like the Electoral College does need to be abolished or needs to be revamped a little bit, because the way it works is there are a lot of states that end up going one way, but it doesn't show what truly should be in the election and what should happen. I feel like it's something that happened back in the day, and as times are changing, I feel like this needs to change as well, because our voice needs to be heard, and it may not be heard with the way the Electoral College is at this point in time in society.
I'm just gonna say all those answers were on point, and so it's gonna be tough to judge. I hope George is there. George, were you listening to all those? We don't see you or hear you yet.
So now you're gonna have
to lose them.
Yeah, I don't.
No, I was listening. I was listening.
All right. Well, you judge.
Are we giving a vote? Are we giving a vote? Are we giving a vote on air now?
You know what? We'll just give all 3 of them. How do we pick between? They're gonna have to up their.
Everybody's a winner. You get a car. You get a car. It's our Oprah moment, right?
Between that,
So
right?
everybody on here, Carson, Caleb, and Bria, we're gonna get you a new Intel Nook, and we'll have your information followed up, and we'll make sure those get to you. So we appreciate you contributing, and we appreciate you knowing. Half the battle is knowing how the system works, what we need to change to attack it, and understand how we can make a difference and make good trouble. So we appreciate that. Don't let anybody tell you that those things aren't important, because that's kind of how they get you. They come at you sideways. So we're now gonna go and give the Kappas of North Carolina A&T a chance to talk about a great PSA that they created. And after they explain it and why they created it, David, if you could cue that up, we'd love to play it, because we found it on Watch the Yard or somewhere on the web, I think on Instagram, and we were just like, this thing is lit. It's like movie quality production. It's the Kappas, it's the Deltas, it's North Carolina A&T State University. And you guys talk about why you created this and why it's important. So Bryce, Jordan, all you guys, jump in.
Explain something to y'all.
What's up, everybody? I'm not sure if I was able to introduce myself quite yet, but my name is Arthur Claiborne. I'm currently serving as the chapter pole mark for the Alpha Nu chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated at the greatest HBCU, and I mean the greatest HBCU, North Carolina A&T State University. We did come up with a quote unquote amazing video, according to many of our peers, about voting. We really wanted to get out and make sure we're pushing the initiative to get students to vote. We didn't want it just to be an Aggie thing, but we wanted to get it out to all the HBCUs and all the institutions, colleges around the world. We do want to make sure that students are realizing how we are impacted, especially as Black men and women at these institutions and how we can need to get out and vote and make an impact within our community. So we're super excited for you all to see this video. Like Brother Jackson said, it gives a lot of details, and we hopefully hit the nail on the head to encourage students to really understand their purpose and how important it is to vote. So if y'all can pull that video up, we're excited to show y'all a little something.
Awesome. So David,
one of the most powerful acts in our control has been all but absent in minority communities. For decades, people of color lacked the awareness of how to vote, or they felt their vote would be meaningless. Today, in 2020, we felt that there is no better time to exercise your right. Make sure you vote before November 3rd to make your voice heard.
Metro in this beat going crazy. Made it out the dirt. I was head first. He used to raw, and I used to serve. Couldn't go to work. School was the worst. Tried to play me, put him on a shirt. Lambo real fast. Fell in love with cash. Fell in love with head, I fell in love with science. I was sleep, I fell in love with math. She was at the club, I made her take a bath. I'm King Smoke, so I got a drum on the stick. Gang was in there, I can't put my tongue on that. He was talking crazy till that hollow hit his lip. Big 4L.
Thank you for tuning in. My name is Arthur Claiborne, the current poll mark of the North Carolina A&T State University chapter, the Alpha Nu chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I want to thank each of you for tuning in. Get ready to learn more information about our noble fraternity and how we always achieve in every field of human endeavor. Phi Nu.
In the winter of 1911, 10 noble men, led by the dreamer, Elder Watson Diggs, founded our grand fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Because of their will to achieve in a time of little opportunity and racism, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated has been uniting men of culture, patriotism, and an honor in a bond of fraternity for 109 years.
The Alpha Nu chapter was chartered on April 14, 1933 at A&T College by 8 college men. We're one of 50 chapters in our region, also known as the Middle Eastern Province. In our province and the fraternity, we have won a numerous amount of awards, ranging from Chapter of the Year, undergraduate alumni awardees, and many other achievements outside of the fraternity. In our chapter, we now currently have 47 active brothers who all work to the highest standards of achievement as founded from our 10 founders. Now that we talked about the history, let's get more into the awards.
Now on to awards and achievements. We have over 17 different awards and achievements that have been given to brothers on the undergraduate level as well as the alumni level. These mainly highlight brothers' accomplishments in scholastic ability, personal ability, and academic achievement. We have been given initiatives from the international headquarters that serve in the public interest. These initiatives include St. Jude's Children's Research, mental health awareness, as well as Title IX.
In an effort to promote the interests of colleges and universities among our members, we push each brother to achieve high scholastic standings. Here at Alpha Nu, we have implemented study halls along with accountability leads in an effort to help brothers maintain GPAs above 3.0. On a fraternal level, each brother has been registered for the Achievement Academy, which provides connections with jobs, leadership programs, and graduate opportunities. Through the LEAD Kappa and the Undergraduate Leadership Institute, under the supervision of the Achievement Academy, we recently had brothers participate in these leadership opportunities on a national level. Brothers Devin Woods and Gary Allen both participated in LEAD Kappa in summer 2019, and brothers Aaron Evans and Bryce Dickerson both participated in the Undergraduate Leadership Institute in 2018 and 2020, respectively.
K-A-P-P-A, A-E-L to the P-H-A, a P-S-I, Phi Nu Pi. I wanna be a Kappa till the day I die. I must admit I'm misunderstood. These are Kappa concepts of true brotherhood. I said to them in passing by,
I wanna be a Kappa till the day I die. Okay, PPA.
Outside of the chapter, we like to help with public schools by fulfilling our 7th initiative, Rooms to Read. As a form of service, we go to our local elementary and middle schools and read different forms of literature to the students, while also informing them on different historical events, tips for self-care, and keys to professionalism.
Professionalism is at the core of the fraternity's values. We sometimes have Zoom calls to help brothers figure out their career. We also have a LinkedIn page to help brothers share their network and give opportunities like internships and jobs. Speaking of a good network, there are a lot of famous noops in the frat, such as Colin Kaepernick, the first black man to own a billion-dollar company, Reginald Lewis, the first black billionaire, Robert Johnson, Cedric the Entertainer, and Wilt Chamberlain, just to name a few. You can follow the fraternity on Instagram and Twitter at KAPSI1911. You can also follow the Alpha Nu chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi.
Welcome back to the Good Trouble Takeover HBCU experience. We appreciate all the HBCUs have stayed with us. I know that we've been running long. We started late, but that's sometimes how a party is. I know the parties when I was an undergrad, that's how they were. So we're going to go to the polls tomorrow with this same spirit, but we just came out of a PSA from the Kappas at North Carolina A&T and the Deltas at North Carolina A&T. Bryce and Jordan and the Kappas from that chapter, can you tell us a little bit about the video and why you made it and where people can see it in full?
Are you guys on mute?
He's coming.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, got you. So a reason why we wanted to make the video, for one, is we were given the task kind of from our region to make a video for voting, as well as we just wanted to get it out there for as many of the students who were not as interactive, maybe due to being at home, not being in person, and not knowing much about how voting is, especially with the whole thing of people sending in absentee ballots and so on and so forth. So we wanted to do something very interactive, something that would definitely catch the eye, something with very well production and also great information as well to know why you're voting, who you're voting for, and why it's supposed to be important to you. So that's pretty much the whole gist of everything. We try to give as much good knowledge as we could that could apply to a college student. So yeah, we just wanted to push every college student out there to vote and let their voice be heard.
Make good trouble.
That's exceptional good trouble, and we appreciate you guys submitting that great content. Can you tell us just briefly where people can see it in full?
Yeah, so if y'all will go to YouTube and type in the Alpha Nu chapter, the video is titled Go Vote, in collaboration with Alpha Nu and Alpha Mu. Great content. Again, YouTube, the Alpha Nu chapter, you should be able to find it there.
Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate you. We're going to roll right into Yolanda Rogers-Housey in her DST shirt, and she's going to tell you a little bit about her organization, and then we're going to play the video. Or do you want to play the video and then you talk, Yolanda? You tell me.
I think you should play the video first.
Awesome. So David, if you could go straight to the video, it's got a very famous HBCU alum in it, Miss Keisha Knight Pulliam of Spelman University. And so we'll go from that video, and then Yolanda can tell you a little bit about her organization and the Greek and band competition that she is running. David, let us know. Awesome. Welcome back again. We had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but Yolanda, tell us about stepping into service, why you started it, who's involved, and then talk a little bit about the band and Greek competition, and then we'll play the video after once we manage some of the technical issues.
Awesome. First of all, thank you guys for having us. So Stepping Into Service is a nonprofit organization that kind of started off as the idea of having the first all celebrity Greek show. So when I went to all of the national presidents to talk about this and wanted to obviously get in, in partnership with them, they wanted to also make sure we focused on, this election. And although we're nonpartisan, but so we just know the power of our vote. So hence we have now the National Stroll to the Polls contest. And so we're awesome. I mean, we're just so happy to be partnering with you guys. These young people on here are amazing, like amazing. So what we're going to do now is watch the video, right?
Yep. Yeah, and tell us a little bit about the Greek competition and tell us about your website where people can go to judge it.
Absolutely. So again, we're carrying on right now the National Stroll to the Polls contest, and that contest doesn't close until 2 weeks. However, what we're doing here with you guys is to kind of celebrate that contest, and I'm so super excited to be having the Battle of the Bands as well as the Step Show. So SIS is sponsoring the grand prize, cash prizes. So you have to do, what you have to do is go on to SIS, stepintoservice.org and vote. And we're giving away gift cards. If you put in when you cast your vote, you have to put in your email address so we'll know who to send the gift cards to. So we're giving away 12 $25 gift cards. So when you vote, you automatically are qualifying for that gift card. We know how it is to be a college student.
Yes.
Right.
And the great thing is for the Step Show, which we're going to show a few videos of the winners later from all the entries that we received. We're also going to show a winner from the band competition, but the winning band is going to get $1,000 and the winning fraternity will get $500 and the winning sorority will get $500. And that's all from Step Into Service. And say that great website one more time, Yolanda.
Stepping Into Service, stepingintoservice.org. And I would be remiss if I didn't share with you my wonderful co-founder, my sorority sister, Keisha Knight Pulliam, who used to be Rudy on The Cosby Show.
We love her.
Awesome. And a wonderful Spelman lady she is. So David, I think you have the video.
Because she's been out there with her voting squads. I follow her on social media. Keisha is like the woman out there who's taking care of everything. She's taking care of family. She is doing her voting thing. She is out there in the streets, as we say.
She and Ella, they are out there doing their things. Keisha is a true activist. She is doing it, always has been. So this is what she does.
Because they actually, Latasha Brown with Black Voters Matter, they have been all over the country. And I know she actually is one of the partners of your foundation. And she's actually the Black Voters Matter is one of our super connected partner orgs with.
Thank you so much, because Latasha Brown and Cliff Albright, they are like old friends of mine. So they put up the money for this.
Okay, this is when I time out, because the problem here is Tracey's from Pittsburgh and Yolanda's from Pittsburgh, and they just start doing this whole Pittsburgh thing. And I'm like, all right, no more Pittsburgh.
I'm from Detroit, by the way.
All right, we're gonna go into the video for Yolanda's organization. David, do you have that queued up?
Stepping Into Service, better known as SIS.
Greetings, I'm Latasha Brown. I'm co-founder and chief doer of Black Voters Matter Fund and Black Voters Matter Capacity Building Institute.
SIS is a nonprofit organization. Our primary focus is to raise funding for HBCU scholarships and to highlight wonderful products of HBCUs.
We are launching with our political initiative, Stroll to the Polls, which is a virtual Greek challenge. It's designed to encourage new and recurrent voters to participate in this upcoming presidential election.
it is really important as we're talking to people about voting this next election cycle that we create some excitement and some energy and some connectivity in this work. So Black Voters Matter has committed ourselves to continuing the work of the Black Power movement and also the Civil Rights movement. And that's why we're excited in working with CIS that this is our moment, this is our time, and we're doing the work because it has to be done. We're connecting with organizations and groups to provide resources, and we want to make sure that we're turning out the vote, because when we show up, we win.
Historically Black colleges and universities have been integral in enriching the lives of not just African Americans, but the entire country. At critical turning points in the nation's history, including the Civil Rights Movement, they've been present, embedded, invested. HBCUs have and continue to create opportunities and visibility for members of the Black community. Products of these institutions have undeniably included some of the world's best and brightest.
I'm Keisha Knight Pulliam, and I am the co-founder and grand ambassador for Stepping Into Service.
Well, Stepping Into Service started as an original idea to have an all-Greek step show. And initially it was to raise funds for HBCU scholarships while highlighting the wonderful products of an HBCU.
I was very excited to join forces with my soror. As an HBCU grad, Spelman College, I understand the importance of us ensuring that we financially support our HBCUs. It is imperative that we make sure that they stay around to educate generations to come.
We partnered with the Divine Nine, the National Penn Council. They were super excited about this, and they also wanted to make sure that we did focus on the election. So this is our answer to the call.
It is so very important that we invest in us. And that's what we're doing with Stepping Into Service.
Join us as we take a step into service.
Hey, how are you, everybody? This is Kwame Jackson coming back to you, part of the HBCU Good Trouble Takeover. We started late, we're going to end late, but we're going to keep the party going. But look, I just found this out. But we got $500 that just came in to give away to somebody on this stream. So I know when I was an undergrad, that was a lot of money. I still think it's a lot of money for a college student. So Tracey is going to talk about the competition and the question. Everybody needs to be ready, put their thinking cap on, and let's do this.
And this is
You can buy a lot of Roman noodles with that.
Yeah, this is open book, because this just came in from the team of participant who has obviously been helping us to push this Good Trouble initiative and get this to the HBCUs to watch Good Trouble. So they are giving $500 to whoever gets this question right first. And here's the question, and just so I can say this, as soon as we're done here, $500 goes to the winner. You can cash app us.
Hold on, before you ask the question, when you say first, does it mean like the person to raise their hand? Like, how are people going to do it so we can nominate somebody?
Well, I didn't think that far ahead, Kwame. I don't know.
Because we're going to have like 10 people who are going to go, Go ahead then. We'll just make it fly.
Okay, Derek Ross, who is one of our publicists on the event, actually was able to send the question, but participants are actually funding the money. So the question is, what year was John Lewis first elected into Congress? Dun, 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 dun. Uh-oh.
Was it 1986?
1984.
Wait, who said it first? Because I didn't see it.
I definitely said it
That
first.
was me.
No.
Caleb. No.
I don't know if we need to split it in half. I didn't really see. I want to be clear, but I didn't see.
I did hear a girl first.
You did?
That was me.
I also heard a girl first. I sure did.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow.
Y'all some real ones.
Our David from Straight Outta Compton, who's the producer, he said Tia. Tia came in.
There you go. The producer,
Wow. Everybody gonna take the
because look, the producer got the headset, so the producer goes first.
In 1986, thanks to the question from Derek Ross, and you get $500 on behalf of
XU.
$500.
So we number Tia hit us up at Cash App. It's $HBCU Heroes, and we will hook you up with your $500 win. We'll be doing more in the next hour. So thank you for you guys being able to answer that quickly about our beloved Congressman John Lewis, the late, great Congressman John Lewis.
This is getting juicy. This is really getting juicy. We got winners galore, $500 being given out. We're going to spread down a little bit in the program to make up some time. We talked about the Kappa's PSA and the Watch the Yard video. I think what we're going to go to now, David, where are we on the program? What line?
I love how this is. This is just your mom and them type show because it's 2020. I mean, Mercury's in retrograde.
It is 2020, but we got a spreadsheet even for 2020. David, what line were we on? Look at you. Look at you using the program. Okay. Let's do this. I know we still have, I want to make sure, do we still have, no, we don't have Raphael from Cheney State. We were going to have a panel to talk about student government on campus. So I know Ashanti's from student government. Who's from student government here?
Well,
okay. Tia, Bria, and Ashanti. Okay, what we'll do is we're gonna
homecoming, because it's still a party to the polls. We missed the homecoming segment.
Okay, go back then. What line?
Okay, I'm just saying this. I want 10 seconds from 3 different people. That's all we need. What's up with the homecomings? Did you or did you not? Did y'all attend? Was it at your school this year? Are you still upset because it wasn't? Okay, I see you, Caleb. Tell me what happened. You get 10, 15 seconds. What's up?
I mean, homecoming just didn't happen. Down here in New Orleans, COVID is really still a problem. So we just got into phase 3. But, you know, if there are any homecomings, let me know, and I'll definitely be making a road trip.
Actually, to correct that, homecoming actually is happening on Xavier's campus. It's just going to be hybrid. It's virtual and in person. They have in-person events and virtual.
Okay. All right. Who else?
Yes.
Well, I can speak on homecoming. It didn't happen at Winston State University. I'm still very upset because it's my senior year, and you know, it will be missed. But I will be there as soon as we have our next one.
No doubt. No doubt. You got your outfit plan already?
No, she does. that kind of leads into even with Revolt TV. Revolt TV just did this whole thing on like homecomings and how all this ties together with voting and all of that. Revolt TV is one of our partners, and we so appreciate them for streaming this live today, along with Yahoo Entertainment, streaming it live, HBCU Game Day, who is always, they got our backs. They always give us content that they've shot from all of the various different campuses, and HBCU Go TV, one of our other streaming partners. So you can watch right now on any of those platforms. They've all been great, and we appreciate them. Along with our sponsors. Kwame, do you want to go into that?
Yeah, so we want to thank, these are the folks who are making the checks possible, who got that $500 to you. We got Participant Media, who really brought out the Good Trouble movie and brought it out to the universe. And they just do a lot of big things in the space. And we're going to continue work with them on movies going forward and bringing them to the HBCU campus. We have Intel, who's been providing those Nooks today, those wonderful computers and gaming devices. We've got Verizon Media, you all know them, and I didn't know this, but they also own Yahoo Entertainment and all the Yahoo properties on the Verizon Media side of the house. And so we're happy to have them restreaming our simulcast on Yahoo Entertainment. We have Revolt TV that Tracey mentioned, owned by Diddy, an HBCU attendee of Howard University. And so Revolt TV is a great partner. I would definitely encourage you to check out their summit, their Revolt TV Summit. That's all about HBCU culture, breaking new musical artists, and really ways to get into kind of the digital entertainment and production game. And so that's really for people who are aspiring into media and entertainment. Revolt is a great entree into that. I know we showed earlier our QR code and the Verizon Media opportunity to actually apply for a job. So we want to make sure that you all are going to Verizon Media. They are welcoming HBCU students to apply and be part of their pipeline if you want to understand what's going on in the space around media. We also have Citibank, who brought the film to all these HBCUs. They actually provided the seats, the movie seats, for people to watch the movie. And that's been a great success. And so we want to thank Citibank for that as well. And I think that's our entire roster, right?
Yeah, it is. And, you know, even with Citibank, I will say it's such a small thing, but a big thing that they did, because when you think about how people, like, you know, the movie is still on demand. It's on, you know, you could watch it on Amazon Prime and all these other movies. So people were like, oh, I could watch it on the TV, but only if you have on demand. And obviously it's a price to pay, you know, with, I don't know, $3.99, $4.99. And in COVID times, that's obviously, sometimes that's, you know, lunch or something. So Citi came to us and said, we're happy to sponsor this for HBCUs. They wanted to make sure that everybody felt as compelled as they did when they actually screened it for over 30,000 employees at Citibank. And so we really, really appreciate them, because without them and their generous offer to make sure that it was, along with Verizon Media and the others, to make sure that this got out to all HBCU campuses, we would not have been able to. It was a steep price that they covered for us to do this. So thank you so much.
The great thing about what Tracey mentioned is, you know, we've all had to pivot to digital movie premieres, right? We were going to do this event on campus and have you all in an auditorium and bring the John Love's movie to you, but we've now gone to this digital model, which is great actually, because the next big, you know, Black film that comes out, we're actually going to be bringing that to HBCU campuses as well. And I won't tell you one of the titles we're looking at, but it's an exciting movie coming down the pipe. And what we want to be able to do is make sure you're telling your friends about it, make sure you're watching the links, because that's how, you know, a lot of our corporate partners judge how much engagement they got from the HBC community, so they can bring you another great free film. And hopefully the next film will be in person, on campus, in an auditorium environment, and we'll have some of the stars from the film and all that kind of stuff. So we're excited about this model, and we're excited about all these partnerships, and we appreciate everybody who's tuning in. Let's now go to our PSA, David, that you had lined up. And we're gonna go to that, and then we'll come back in.
About HBCUs, and we, you know, those of us who are HBCU allies, we didn't go to an HBCU. What's so unique about that experience? And as a graduate, what would you say to students today about how they can use that education to change the world?
Oh my God, that's a whole mouthful. But let me just say this about the HBCU. So whoever's listening, if you have never ever considered going to an HBCU, now is the time. Like, you want to be in that school. That is the school that's going to keep you woke. You're going to feel the community. It's all about culture. And that, right now, that's where you want to be. You want to be with your community instead of in a different school or a big school where, you know, it's a little different.
So what message, Kim, do you have for HBCU graduates and students who are still in college? How do we motivate them to get them to the polls?
Well, you know what? They were motivated, the generation that put in Obama. We have got to re-energize. We are fighting for our lives. If they look like, understand that we are fighting for our lives, these young people are saying, oh, my vote doesn't count. Stop believing the hype. You got to remember, everything is set up for us to fail. So you got to put your part in it. You've got to go vote. You've got to encourage everyone to vote. When people say that, you've got to say your vote counts. So it hurts my heart to hear that the HBCUs have fallen off in the voting area. I'm going to do everything in my power to get out there and encourage people to vote, especially the young people. The young people, they're doing it. They got to show up and show out like they did for these protests. The young people are motivated, so they have got to be the ones to really get out there and do it. if we think about what John Lewis went through and all the people in the civil rights, and I mean, come on, we're not getting hoses turned on us. We don't have dogs. You know, we've got to look at our history and say, if they did it, we could at least go vote.
Talk about what role college students play, HBCUs in particular, have in the turnout when it comes to the voting.
Yes, and so of course you see me repping Howard, but
I see you.
HU, and so I think it's very important just because Howard and college students and HBCUs, especially, you're that connector to the folks back home, to your larger community. So I just tell them to share your experiences, share the knowledge you're going. You get so much just being on campus, being inside the classroom, just being around all that Blackness, and just to be able to share it and be that outlet so other people can be privy to that information, because you get to take up so much. You're like a sponge, but you got to release it too, so other people can have that, and they may not be able to be at Howard or Clark or Spelman or somewhere else, but they can still get some of the lessons that you're getting. And that's what I think the most important thing is, to share, to be involved, and to make sure that you're amplifying whatever you're hearing on campus, hearing in your classrooms, into the bigger community.
I love that. I love that.
Hello, everybody. We're rounding the final corner on our HBCU Good Trouble Takeover. It has been one interesting and fun and turn up and lit evening. We've given away $500 here, an Intel computer there. We've had a chance to talk about Good Trouble and the wonderful movie that brought this whole spirit together, and really get a chance to connect with some great HBCUers. So we're excited about it. Tracy, why don't you take it from there, and then we'll go to Yolanda.
Okay, perfect. So we do have to give away another Intel Nook. And so our winner, we're going to give away, Intel is really going to be like, what have you done? But anyway. So our winner from social media, sent in by our girl, Keisha Bella, is Sammy Approved. That's I think Sammy's Instagram is Sammy Approved on Instagram. So Sammy will get with our team and we'll be able to give her that computer. And now we're going to give one more Nook Intel to this crowd. And George Lynch is going to ask an easy question that whoever answers first is going to get an Intel Nook and $100 so that you can buy the peripherals for it. Because Intel, like we said, it goes everywhere, but we want to make sure that if you need the mouse and the keyboard and all of that, HBCU Heroes, courtesy of George Lynch, we'll put that on him too, we'll just go ahead and get you guys the peripherals with that. So G Lynch, can you think of something quick and easy that they can answer, John Lewis related or not, voting related or not? And first one who answers first right gets this Nook and $100.
Name the bridge that John Lewis marched across.
The Edmund Pettus Bridge.
Okay.
Shanti was like, that's a good question.
Okay.
That was a great question.
We'll exchange numbers and all that. You'll get the $100 courtesy of our founder, G Lynch, and Kwame and I too. And then you'll get the Nook Intel computer as well.
And that's a wonderful question, because there's some history behind that. Edmund Pettus, as we know, is a Confederate general, and there's a lot of tension around that name, but they're working to actually rename that bridge the John Lewis Bridge. So that's a very, very important part of history in Alabama. So thank you for being on it, Ashanti. We see Winston-Salem State and the Political Action Committee ready. So great question, George. We're now going to roll into Yolanda and stepping into service, and we're going to announce the winners from her website, which I want you to repeat again, Yolanda. And that's going to be for the band competition, the Greek step show competition, fraternity and sorority, and then we'll play those 3 clips. So definitely cue those up for us, please, David, while Yolanda announces the winners.
Oh my God, this is so exciting. So before I announce the winners, I have to say, we still have time for chapters across the country for the D9 to submit a old footage, which is attached to a voting message. Go on the site, steppingintoservice.org, and make sure you submit You can win. We still have over $16,000 up in the air. However, now let's go to the winning. First, let's do the bands. So I have here, she's already told me who is the winner. It is the Sonic Boom of the South. That's Jackson State University.
Jackson State, represent. Look, you know, I love Jackson State because they're Jackson, and I've seen people rock that dope Nelly that says Jackson College. So I'm like, I got to get me one of those just so I can have like Jackson College, old school. So
and Coach Prime is now representing. Coach Prime.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. So Jackson State, why don't we do this? Why don't you announce the fraternity and sorority, and then we'll play all three. David, is that be able to cue that up? Awesome.
So the winner of the fraternity is Alpha Phi Alpha. Well, who said
They gotta win some. They gotta win some. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Now, Xavier was on here earlier, and he represents the good brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha from Florida A&M University. So we appreciate Xavier and those brothers. So good brothers in 1906 and Martin Luther King.
And then the sorority winner is Delta Sigma Theta sorority.
Awesome.
David
so
has
Delta Sigma Theta,
ready to
A Phi A, and the Jackson State Sonic Boom. If we could play those videos, and we'll come back after that, David. Thank you.
It's bigger than black and white. It's a problem with the whole way of life. It can't change overnight. But we gotta start somewhere. Might as well go ahead, start here. We done had a hell of a year. I'ma make it count while I'm here. God is the only man I fear. They training officers to killers, then shooting protesters with these rubber bullets. They regular people, I know that they feel us. These scars too deep, they heal us. What happened to COVID? Nobody remember, it ain't making sense. I'm just here to vent. It happened to one of your people, it's different. We get it, the system is wicked, just learn how to pick it. Knowledge is power, I swear I'm a witness. I know that I'm gifted, I won't go too deep, cause I'm scared they'll get me. Ain't scared to admit it, some shit I can't mention. It's people who can, well here's the chance. I won't take the stand, but I'll take a stand for what I believe. Must not be breathing.
KWF, rock the vote, exercise your voting rights. This is Delta's fight. Exercise your voting rights. Let's all unite. Exercise your voting rights. This is Delta's fight. Exercise your voting rights. Let's all unite.
Let's rock the vote on November's election day. Everyone will hear what the people have to say. We live in a land that was founded on democracy. This was an idea from the Greek philosophy. Voting helps bring about what you want to see. It's time we pick leaders that act responsibly. To vote back then, you had to own property. Then only white men, there was no equality. Then through history, our country didn't begin. Refusing voters with a different color skin. In 1870, the 15th Amendment, American soldiers had to fight and defend it. Some states tried to keep prejudice alive until the Voting Rights Act 1965. Voting equality is what this act denotes. KWF, it's time to rock the vote.
We are back after those three great winners: Jackson State Sonic Boom, the brothers of 1906 Alpha Phi Alpha, and the ladies, the devastating divas of Delta Sigma Theta, my mom's sorority. So great winners. Yolanda, we really appreciate you stepping up as our sponsor in this particular area. And if you could just say your website one more time and maybe start the conversation off for us. tell us a little bit about, you know, the power of the D9 and how pledging an organization really affected your time at college.
Well, absolutely. Thank you. So first of all, I did attend an HBCU, a private institution by the name of Tougaloo College in Jackson, Mississippi. So this is what it makes it even more special to see that Jackson State won. So Tougaloo played a very huge role in the civil rights movement because it was one way on and one way off. So Tougaloo makes sure that you are aware of the history of how we fought for the right to vote. So that's why it is essential that we make sure we protect our voices, because this is what that voter suppression is all about. They're trying to rob us of that, and we have to make sure we get out and vote. And that's why it's so exciting to see these young kids and the way they're thinking, their thought process. You guys are our future, and I'm so excited to know that you guys are going to be in charge of it. So get out and vote.
Thank you, Yolanda. And if you could say your website one more time.
Thank you. Steppingintoservice.org. Steppingintoservice.org.
And that reminds me, we should probably do a drop in on ours too. Our website is HBCUHeroes.org. You can hit that donate button. You can ask questions, all of that good stuff. Keep in touch with us, but it's you can follow us at HBCU Heroes on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere, Twitch. So HBCUHeroes.org. And if it's okay with you, Kwame, we have people just want to give y'all money. So this is awesome. This is really good. So
hold on one second. Before we do that, we can either do that now because I know everybody's excited for that. But we also want to have a discussion about D9s and bands. So do you want to do that first, or
money first, right, guys?
Money first. Money first. Go ahead. Money first.
Now Kwame, think of a question really quick while I lay out this contest. So this contest comes in from our very own graphic designer here at HBCU Heroes. His name is Kenny Boyd from Boyd Graphics. And Kenny saw all this money that's given out. Kenny actually went to Benedict College in South Carolina, and he's a proud Alpha. And he said he couldn't have Kwame doing all this Kappa talking. Kwame ain't putting up no money. So he said he's coming through for the Alphas, and he is offering $200. I know you said 100, Kenny, but I'm gonna put in 100 myself. So we're gonna give $200 to the next person who answers Kwame's question.
I got a tough one already. Number one, my hat's off to Kenny. Kenny's a great graphic designer. He's done a lot of the great flyers that you see out in the space, our social media presence. So we want to be very, very thankful to him for all the work that he does to elevate HBCUs, the D9, HBCU Heroes, and all we're trying to do. Because look, we're all in the same boat. We're all pulling in the same direction. And the more we can kind of lock up together, the more we're going to move forward together. So we really appreciate Kenny and him stepping up. But this is 200. You already got 500. You got computers. Now you're getting 200. And I got a tough question for 200. We're going to bring it back to the D9. Okay. Name 3 civil rights icons who are also D9 members. 3.
Raise your hand first so we can know.
All right, Tavin. It was Tavin first this time.
So you had Martin Luther King.
And what was he?
He was an Alpha.
All right.
You had I hope he counts because he did some you had Hugh P. Newton. He was a brother of Phi Beta Sigma, I believe.
I'm not sure about that one. I didn't know Hugh P. Newton was good. Oh, Yolanda says no. All right, hold on. Tavin gets the X because he missed one.
But he said he believed. Was he a brother of
any? No. I'm judging this competition. Oh. So someone's gonna have 3 right answers. 3 right answers. Who has 3 right? He got 1 and he got 1 wrong. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, now, I don't think that's fair because not everyone's in a D9 on this call.
Oh, you don't have to be in D9. This is just knowledge.
Knowledge.
You're telling me this question is too tough? Bryce has it.
And then because do we have another answer? Do we know?
Go ahead, Bryce. Bryce, go ahead.
So you got Martin Luther King.
Who was a what?
Alpha. Man, Alpha. Ralph Abernathy.
man of
Who
Kappa
was the
Alpha
what?
Psi. Kappa Alpha Psi.
That's
and then
right.
John Lewis, a member of Phi Beta Sigma.
There you go. It's that easy.
That's
You
200
know,
courtesy of Boy
that's 200. The reason I wanted to give an answer is because there's a lot of people. We're going to have a D9 discussion, but there's a lot of people who are involved in the movement who are D9 members, whether it's Colin Kaepernick or John Lewis, who is a Phi Beta Sigma, or Martin Luther King, Alpha Phi Alpha, Jesse Jackson, who's a man of Omega Psi Phi, Shirley Chisholm, who's a lady of DST. You know, so many people involved in the movement who were part of D9 that we should all be proud. Yolanda, you wanted to say something? I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I think I have to. Someone just texted me on my team, and they said Huey Newton is a member of Phi Beta.
Okay, just like he
Phi
said,
Beta Sigma.
now he gotta get.
No, I didn't say. Look, hold on.
I'm going to give. No. I'm going to give him $100 myself. Is that okay?
Exactly.
Give him the other $100 because we can't.
Look.
But you got to name a third one. Now you already got half the way there. So what's the third one? Oh, you're on mute.
A third one. Well,
Ooh.
He just gave you a whole bunch.
Just said 3.
I can repeat. John Lewis.
Okay,
that's a good one. No, and my apologies because I didn't say.
And says they have to adjust the question.
And Tracey, I didn't say he was wrong. Yolanda said that was wrong, so we moved on to the next. So it's all good.
Give her for that. He's still getting his $200. So
everybody's a winner. Everybody's a winner.
Okay, so we have a few more because we're getting ready to wrap this up in a few minutes. So we've got to get to our first-time voters who were actually. There were a lot of videos that came in. Florida Memorial sent in some. I think Chainz State. Who else, Kwame, sent in videos of first-time voters? I know North Carolina A&T did. Xavier without the X in front. We had so many first-time videos. We can't play them all, but our producer is going to queue them up and at least make sure that we get out the vote and make sure that first-time voters' voices are heard here on this Good Trouble HBCU Takeover, John Lewis style. So David's going to go ahead and queue those up, and then we're going to get those played. And if anyone else here is a first-time voter, we want to say thank you for making Good Trouble with us today. We appreciate you. And if you've already voted, we're so proud of you. And if you're voting tomorrow, even still proud of you. But we're going to cue these videos up, and then we're going to close out, I think, in the next couple minutes. Okay, Kwame?
Yep. So we appreciate that, and we appreciate all you all who have stuck around to get all kinds of prizes and computers and, you know, who knows what else that you'll get out of this. A great network.
Before this is for more money. Let's see.
Exactly. And so what we'll do then is, as he queues those up, we're going to have, you know, a small break because we're going to go to the video for Jasmine Brand and the video for Florida Memorial, which is the first-time voter. And what I want everybody to do while we go to those, for people who said they were a first-time voter, raise your hand. So we want to talk about the first-time voting experience, people who haven't had a chance to tell that first-time story, because that's what this process is about. And it's about engaging people in democracy, the power of our vote. So we want you to be able to share your first-time voter stories as we wrap up tonight. So David, are we ready with the Florida Memorial video? Awesome, let's roll that. Thank you.
My name is Dominic Lambert, and I'm here supporting the Lions of Florida Memorial University. This will be my first election that I'll be joining in 2020, and I encourage all students and alumni to go out and vote because your vote counts. I would also like to thank the founders of HBCU Heroes for making this possible. Woo! Go out and vote, guys. Let's go.
Hey guys, it's Jasmine Brand, owner of the media company, thejasminebrand.com, and I am an HBCU alum, Morgan State University, and my first time voting, I was a freshman in college. I'll never forget, I was super nervous, a little bit anxious because I had never voted before, and I was a little confused about the process, and I wasn't sure who I was going to be voting for in the different categories. So I wasn't really prepared for what was going to happen. But I remember a group of me and my girlfriends, we went to the polls and we voted. And ever since then, I've been voting ever since. And I just want to stress the importance on election day. It's super important that you go out and vote. I know I see a lot of people on social media complaining about some of the issues that we have. I see lots of people protesting, which is great. But to take it one step further, we need to put some action behind it. We need to go out and vote and let our voice be heard. Voting is sacred. People literally died, so that we would have the right to vote. So it's important on election day that you get out and you vote and you tell everybody to vote. We got to do it. Election day, we have to vote.
My name is Jemiah Pierce and I attend Florida Memorial University. I am currently studying in mass communication broadcasting, and I'm informing you all today to get out and vote by November the 3rd. Even if you have to inform your family members, your friends of friends, your cousins, everyone to get out and vote. Make sure you go to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and have everyone repost to go vote by November the 3rd. Everyone votes matters.
My name is Imani and I'm a current student here at Florida Memorial University down here in Miami Gardens, and I'm super excited about participating in my second presidential election. I just really want to encourage our students and our fellow alumni as well to get out to the polls to vote, to make our voices heard. Thank you so much to HBCU Heroes for giving us the encouragement that we need to get out to the polls and cause some good John Lewis trouble.
Welcome back to the Giveaway Money Hour. This is no longer the HBCU Good Trouble Takeover. Price is Right meets, whatever other game show that we all remember. But we really appreciate all the HBCUers who have been sticking with us at Spelman, at Xavier, at the Rams of Winston-Salem State, at North Carolina A&T, the Aggies. So we just really appreciate you guys showing us a lot of love and continuing to spread the word of HBCU Good Trouble and our takeover, and reminding everyone they have to go out and vote either today, tomorrow, whenever, but they got to go out and vote and make sure their voice is heard. So Tracey, I'm going to throw it over to you. I think we have one more thing that you wanted to put on our agenda right now.
Well, two things. One, our partner, JB, John Bukowski, has actually said it's okay for us to make this really big announcement, which I put my glasses on for, because we actually are going to be launching, HBCU Heroes is going to be launching in partnership with JB's team. We're going to be launching a esports league. And so basically it's going to be called Heroes Versus. We're doing a tournament in December, which is just kind of a pre-taste of what we're going to be delivering to you guys. But in January, we're actually going to be coming out in Q1 with our HBCU league, and we're actually just putting that on the radar for you guys and girls, I should say, all techies, all gamers. We want everybody involved, and our league is going to be about building. It's going to be about giving you guys a pipeline to employment opportunities with some of our sponsors like Intel and like Verizon and Verizon Media and Yahoo Entertainment and Revolt TV and some of the others, Participant Media. So we just wanted to put that out there and let you know that, put that on the radar. And then Kwame, I think we go back to you for the next segment, right?
Yep, that holiday tournament is going to be the hotness because it's going to be right before Christmas. You can win cash and prizes. You're going to connect with other schools. So we're super excited about that and continuing to build the gaming universe within HBCUs. And so I wanted to take it with our last segment as we wrap everything up. We had a chance to play the Florida Memorial video, our first time voters, and we talked a little bit about the power of what this event is about tonight, which is first time voting stories and engaging in democracy and making a difference and making good trouble. So I wanted to give a chance for a few students to share their first time voting stories, students who haven't had a chance to do that, and we can talk a little bit through the power of their vote and why they're engaging for the first time. So whoever wants to go first.
Who's making that good trouble?
Who's a first time voter?
Oh, are none of you all first time voters? I thought
I'm a first time presidential voter, but not a first time voter.
Okay, we should have clarified first time presidential voter.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, tell me your story.
So for me, I'm in New Orleans, but my hometown is Dallas, Plano. So it was kind of weird for me to do absentee voting because down here, Texas especially, they're doing a lot with the voting and voter suppression. So I had to get mine mailed in. I had to do it twice to get the application to get my ballot. And then once I got my ballot, I was able to send it right back. So it was a pretty smooth process. And with me leading the voter initiative here at Xavier, I was able to help other people as well with their absentee voting. So we are all able to make good trouble and let our voices be heard, because someone who stands for nothing will fall for everything.
That's right.
There it is.
Each one reach one. I
Great
like that
story.
voting squad mentality. That's great. Who else?
Anybody else with a first time voting story?
In the presidential election, we should say.
Yeah, this is my first time voting in a presidential election as well. And I guess my civic engagement history really started last summer when I became a Andrew Goodman Vote Everywhere ambassador, which pretty much civically trains students to get civically engaged and teach others how to do so as well. And so with Caleb, we helped lead the voter initiative on campus, registering people to vote, get absentee ballots mailed off for people who couldn't go to the post office. We even got legislation passed recently by our state legislature. Yeah, and it pretty much allows students in Louisiana to use their student ID as voter ID. So it makes voting easier for students in Louisiana. So we're really—
Wow, that's amazing.
So we're all over here like really just passionate about getting students out to vote, because if the student vote wasn't as powerful as I think it is, then people wouldn't really be trying to suppress it as much. So that's pretty much all we're doing. And that's pretty much why I want to vote, because I know my vote has power.
That's beautiful. Nice. Thank you for sharing that. That's what this event is all about. Any other first time voting stories? Presidential election?
Yes, I know you all heard from me a little bit earlier, but I do want to speak to the power that the vote has. And I recently came from New York and am now back in the DMV DC area, and everything is boarded up and it looks very eerie right now because of all the civil unrest that we've experienced throughout the summer and up till now. So I would like to stress the importance of the power in your vote, as well as spread caution to the unrest situation that we have going on because of everything happening within our community. It's very important to go out and let your voice be heard, but make sure that it's heard in a responsible way.
That's beautiful. And I think that is important. These first time voting stories and how we think about our democracy is really in your hands. You are the future generation. You are going to be taking the baton for environmental justice, for racial justice, for social justice, for criminal justice reform. All those are issues that are wrapped up in your vote. And we're just so hyped to have you guys energized with us and to spread some of that energy to the polls. Any other first time voting stories?
We got those. So
that's one.
Or I'm gonna let Shanti go, then I'll go.
Yeah,
okay.
So and I actually did a march to the polls together with the band, and that was both of our first times voting for president. So I'm gonna let him share his experience, but I was very anxious. It was very exciting, and especially being able to share that moment with my student body. So it was really beautiful. I really enjoyed myself.
And before you share too, if I can say this, one of the things that we heard from our team over at Participant Media, they were sharing stories with us on how so many they do social impact work through their products and their films and all of that. But one of the things on social media that they kept seeing is that so many young people were so anxious about voting. And I think more than in recent history, like obviously not more than the 60s or 70s when John Lewis started his marching to the polls and stuff. But now there's the suppression. They were saying poll watchers. There's the COVID, and so people don't want to get sick. You don't want to stand out in line for 8 hours. And there's so many things that are just rising up to make it so much more difficult for young people to really get out there and vote. The wonderful part about everything that you all are doing is you're on social media, which I think is such a powerful tool. You're on there, you're spreading the word. You're not just virtual soldiers. You guys are hitting the streets. You're out there doing your walk and doing the talk. You're making good trouble. And so for us, I just wanted you all to know how Kwame, George, and I are so thankful for all of you for sharing your personal stories and your personal testimonies through what you've been going through, even through Zeta and everything else that you all are out here doing what you're doing, because you are really, really, really great troublemakers. You're good troublemakers, great troublemakers. And we are proud to have all of you on. So I just wanted to share that with you because of the anxiousness that you mentioned.
So Tracey, if I would love to share with these guys what their passion and their energy, what it resonates with me, because it makes me think of our founders of all of the D9s. They were you all's ages when they started these organizations. So I just want you guys to just keep that in mind and keep the fire burning. So I'm so happy to be a part of this and to watch this and see how you guys are actively, not only are you guys voting, but you are engaging your community. So that's so important.
I mean, they're doing it in everywhere. Like, even though when we heard, Yolanda, where, you know, if they went to one school, but now they're home because of COVID and they're in another state, or they're absentee voting, they're still making it. Sometimes, you know how it was at our age, sometimes people go a little bit, but they don't necessarily go the entire mile. You all are going way beyond what sometimes you just don't hear these kinds of stories. That's why I'm so glad we were able to showcase them. And why also, I got to talk to George and Kwame, but I think we ought to do a wrap up, a follow up next week and see what happened and how everybody, you know, ended up the week, because this is just amazing.
This is good energy. It's great energy around voting. And we appreciate all of you all for sticking with us, for chiming in and working through the technical difficulties of bringing this group together. But we're going to continue to expand this group. We told you about some of the program that's coming down the line, and we're going to continue to partner with your wonderful universities, Spelman, Howard, Xavier, Winston-Salem State University, Cheney, all the great schools that were on tonight. I want to close by thanking our sponsors once again: Intel Corporation, Verizon Media, Revolt TV, Yahoo Entertainment, Citi, Participant, all these great corporations who stepped up to understand the power of the HBCU voice and the power of the HBCU voter and the power of the HBCU consumer. You all are trendsetters. You set the trends for all people in the United States and even in the world. And so we want to continue to amplify your voices. We want to continue to let you know that we see you, that we value you, that you're heard, we believe in you, and we know that you're our future. So thank you so much for sticking with us tonight and spreading this message of good trouble. George, do you want to say anything to close as well?
Yes, it's very important that you guys continue the work that you're doing, paying it forward, leaving a foundation for the next generation behind you. Just like Congressman John Lewis did for us, what Colin Kaepernick did for the guys behind him, like LeBron, and what LeBron and Chris Paul, the guys are trying to do. And, you know, great organizations like HBCU Heroes. We're here for you guys and trying to make this world a better place.
Thank you, George.
And I just wanted to say too, because we really can't thank enough the team at Revolt TV for coming on and streaming this with us, because, you know, Diddy, obviously, we didn't talk to him, obviously, but his team, they obviously, for him going to Howard, you know, really just wanted to make sure that they participated in a meaningful way here. Yahoo Entertainment wanted to make sure that they participated in a meaningful way and posted and everything else. And so I just wanted to do that. HBCU Game Day, always in our corner. HBCU Go TV, thank you so much. And I think that probably will wrap out this week, and hopefully we'll find some more money giveaways and be back with you guys again in the next week or two.
Yep. And does anyone have any parting messages they want to share? I know you guys had a chance to connect on the chat. Hopefully you'll have a chance to find each other on social media and connect and continue to build this HBCU Heroes network. Any parting comments on any topic from students would be great. Go ahead, Caleb.
I just want to say, like, I guess from all of us, voting matters. We need y'all to vote because our generation depends on it. The person we have in office right now, he's not doing what's best for us. He's doing what's best for him. And you may think your vote doesn't matter, but it does, because one vote leads to another vote. And you can start with your group and keep going, and that'll be change, the change that we need in our society, the change that is deserving, because we are great people. African Americans have so much power, and it doesn't even begin, you can't even begin to see that if we don't vote and show that we can. So Black is powerful and Black is back, and we need to go ahead and show that.
All right now.
And also don't sleep on state elections. State elections are just as important as the presidential election. Just keep in mind that the poor execution of justice for Breonna Taylor was done by elected officials. They were elected in office by somebody. So participate in your state elections and vote for people who are going to execute justice for us.
You know, Tia, it's funny you mentioned that. I said this in the media a few weeks back, and they were asking, you know, who you're voting for and where the presidential election is going to fall. And I say, you know who I voted for? I voted for Breonna Taylor today. I voted for George Floyd today. I voted for Trayvon Martin today. I voted for Tamir Rice today. I voted for Sandra Bland today. I think this is an opportunity for us to understand the martyrs that are in our generation, not just our ancestors, but in our generation. And the way to seek justice for them is through platforms like this and through our vote and building our network and our power. So I appreciate you saying that, Tia. Thank you very much. Any other closing comments? Awesome. Go ahead, Tracey.
So I was just going to say in closing as well, don't forget to log on to HBCUHeroes.org, push the donate button so we can continue to give students like this scholarships and what I call walking around money, that WHAM money that will help get them through COVID. And we will be back in probably the next week or two with another live stream event produced by our boy, David Compton. We call him straight out of Compton, but thank you for producing, David. Thank you to our publicists, to our team from graphic designers to interns to social media team. Everybody just did such a great job in putting all this together. And Yolanda, thank you for being a sponsor as well and for coming on board. And please thank Keisha and give her a big hug.
And can I say one more thing for these guys who's gonna go vote tomorrow? If you follow us on social media and just put your picture of that you voted, I got something for you.
Uh-oh.
Y'all just keep getting stuff. This is
what about absentee voting?
You if you take a picture and post it on what is it? Hashtag Stroll to the polls.
Okay, I got that.
At Sis Nonprop.
So we appreciate everybody. We're going to wrap it up for tonight. We appreciate you sticking with us. We appreciate you bearing with us. And we appreciate you riding with us because this is what this is about. We're going to do this together. Thank you on behalf of HBCU Heroes, our wonderful co-founders, Tracey Pennywell and George Lynch. And much love to the HBCU Heroes community and the HBCU community. We love you. We see you. We support you. Keep doing your thing.
Keep making good
forever.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Take care.
My name is Jay Dukes. I'm an entertainer, actor, comedian, and also the CEO of Oxford Wars LLC. And I'm a proud alumnus of Claflin University in Orangeburg, South Carolina. You all know that this election is the most important election of our lifetime. So please, 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 let's not play with it. Let's do what we have to do. I do remember my first time voting. It was back in 2008 on the campus of Claflin University. And we were just so excited to vote for President Barack Obama. And beyond like the presidential elections and the debates and like all of the policies, I really just wanted to see a Black man in office. Because I feel like everything that we've been through as a culture, as a people, it was so important to have that, slice of the pie that we could be proud of. And just as a testament that we can overcome anything as a people when we band together. So, of course, he won. We were so excited. We were just all out on the yard, like hugging each other, screaming, yelling. And then somebody took a speaker out and just started blasting Jeezys. My president is Black. My Lambo's blue. It was just a really, really joyous time. It was extremely exciting. And so you guys want that same feeling, right? I feel like that our culture is going down, or just our nation is going down a very scary path at this point. And so it's up to us, it's up to you, it's up to everybody to change the trajectory of our future. And so we were a part of history. So I'm asking you to do your part to be a part of our future. So walk, run, fly if you can to the polls, to make sure that we turn this future around and we set ourselves up for success. So my name's Jay Dukes, and I'm out.
Player partner 2 Chainz checking in. Now check it. Historically, black colleges and universities have been a space for our people for almost 2 centuries.
They've become the breeding ground for some of the most successful doctors, actors, journalists, engineers, and politicians that this country has ever seen.
And in days like these, when our safety is predominantly non-black spaces is threatened at an all-time high, the importance of HBCUs is being emphasized on an even larger scale. So today, we're celebrating the legacy and impact of HBCUs with a showcase unlike any other.
Ahead, check out an ode to what HBCUs have done for us as a people, but also to the impact it's had on the culture. Check it out.
Let's fast forward to join first-year students Nikki, Cameron, and Deshawn that have just made it onto campus for their first homecoming weekend. All the freshmen just got a notification from their student advisors on all the homecoming festivities planned for the weekend. Let's take a look.
What's good, freshmen, and welcome back, alumni, to REVOLT Homecoming 2020.
College is more than school. It's a whole vibe. It's a whole mood. It's a bomb-ass experience. It's a place where the person you are today meet the person you'll be tomorrow. Period.
Don't let that money make, baby.
Southern University.
What's up with y'all?
Alabama State.
I'm back.
Damn you. Clark, Atlanta.
It feel good to be back.
Shake your money maker. Don't let that money maker. Shake that money maker. Don't let that money make it. Oh, shake your money maker. Don't let that money make it. Shake that money maker. Don't let that money make it, baby. Yeah, shake that money maker. Don't let that money make it. You know I accommodate you. Can I accommodate you? I make you come, I hate you. I know you're home lately. I turn your curly hair into that bone straightening. I make you moan, baby. It feel right, don't it? I know I'm wrong, baby. That pheromone fragrance. Can't miss no car payments. I kiss her earlobe. Like what you doing later? The Birkin alligator. Them lanes agitator. I'm talking natural beauty. No makeup applicator. She say I killed the I seen the affidavit. She blew my cap off. Like I had graduated. The roof decapitated. The booth contaminated. Hey, check my face card. I bet it's laminated. My jewelry carbonated. My yard 100 acres. I like to nominate you. To roll my dice in Vegas. I shake your money maker. Don't let that money maker. I shake that money maker. Don't let that money make it. Oh, shake your money maker. Don't let that money make it. I shake that money maker. Don't let that money make it, baby.